Okay, welcome back, everybody, to What's the Obsession True Crime live stream and chat. And this evening, what is it? Wednesday evening here in New York, the United States, specifically New York. It is December 18th. The holiday season, Christmas is coming up. That also means my birthday's coming up, and it's also the anniversary of Brian Koberger's arrest, which are the same day. Trivia. What day in December is that? My birthday and the day in December that Brian Koberger was arrested. So I hope everybody's looking forward to a wonderful holiday season if you celebrate. I was actually going to put up a community post asking everybody, like, do you celebrate the holidays? And if so, which ones do you celebrate? Do you celebrate Christmas? Do you celebrate a different tradition? Do you just, take that time to get together with people you love or do something special? Because for a lot of people, it just seems like maybe others are off. So it's just a good time to get together, even if you don't celebrate Christmas specifically. I'm just really curious. I always love to getting to know more about each of you guys. And so if you want to say something about that, certainly please do. So tonight we are going to be talking about, and we have a bit of exclusive info that I gleaned from an attorney. And I have to be very careful how I say this, but I'm going to say it right. I'm just, sometimes it's a long day. Just got to make sure I say these words in order. Okay. An attorney in Florida who is representing a party that does have standing in this case, or I think it's not so accurate to say this case, but in the loss or the death of Madeline Soto's life, right? I believe my understanding is, although I didn't fully clarify this, I thought I had an understanding while we were talking. Now I'm thinking I should have clarified it. And oh, by the way, I did verify this through the attorney and the party, the attorney and some others he works with, like firm, let's say, are representing, and this party does have standing in a case involving the loss of Madeline Soto's life is being the loss. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't want to say anything that is inaccurate at all. And I'm getting a thumbs up from the people that would approve it. So that's accurate, okay? And there'll be more forthcoming on that. They feel comfortable talking about their excitement to have counsel retained. And my understanding is, and again, counsel, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or the other party, the party counsel's representing, that this counsel has been retained for a while. I don't know if there may be others, like our friend, for example, Jay, guilty of crime. I know she's covered this case very extensively and in depth, and she brings out some new things. Well, at least when I listened to her, that I didn't know before. And then there's, of course, the channels like Plunder and Grizzly True Crime and The Docket, who are doing those FOIAs and getting all of that great body cam footage, all of those hours upon hours upon hours of interview material, of words that you wish you never, ever, ever, ever had to hear, but they are so critical to the case. So it's not clear to me if no. Okay. So I guess I haven't talked to any other channels. So, okay. So the feeling among these people who obviously have some pretty strong enough connection to Madeline Soto, the beautiful, sweet little, just turned 13-year-old girl who lost her life to the hands of Stefan Stearns, who is Jennifer Soto's, who's Madeline's mother. It wasn't even her boyfriend. It was like her ex-boyfriend, kind of convenience guy, kind of like fellow prescription medication dependent, maybe on the same ones, buddy, kind of like, we both aren't really inspired or motivated and have no problem turning that into a lifestyle and letting our neighbors and other people around us pay for us, that kind of a friend. But, it wasn't even Jenn Soto's boyfriend. Stefan Stearns was not. And I guess calling him an it is completely appropriate when you know what this man was charged with and what he did. And and she was pretty strong in that all along, before and after, until, of course, their first interview and their first interaction with the police, and then the second, and then the next, right after Maddie, oh my gosh. I think I tried to turn her into Natalie, but she's not. She's Madeline. Madeline went missing, and then Jenn was just referring to him as her partner or her life partner, which was, total BS based on what we know to be true, right? So, okay, so kind of like the big scoop is, I'm not going to like make a big lead up to it because I'm like really bad at it. But the feeling is, and this is not known for sure. Let me be clear on that. I'm not here looking at some like secret event on a docket that's going to be happening, but it's not going to drop publicly until date. No. That's not what's happening. But these people who have standing in the case and their legal representation believe that charges are going to quickly be coming up for Jenn Soto. And I say that with some hesitation. Well, for two reasons. Number one, I don't want to mislead people, but I'm telling you, it could possibly not be, what happens. There is that possibility because nobody knows for sure. Nobody is claiming to. However, being the people who are close to the details of that case, and we're going to get into all that soon. There's really a lot we have to cover. This is probably going to have to spill over into a part 2 of this live stream, which will not be tomorrow night because I'm going to need a night off. And then Friday night, we are doing a JonBenet Ramsey live stream, and please be there for that. There is a lot of really deep stuff to dive into. So maybe we'll pick this up, what we don't get to tonight, on Saturday night, okay? So what this is to say, and what I'm talking to you about right now and telling you, they believe it is more than likely that charges are going to drop for Jenn Soto, Madeline Soto's mother, in the near future. And that's really all that I guess is they're comfortable saying at this point. And I think that sounds, that sounds like the appropriate thing to say. So what that means are these people who are close enough to Jenn or knew Jenn clearly, if they have standing in the loss of Maddie in that type of a case, whether it be criminal or civil. And again, I think it's civil. And then the attorneys themselves who are embedded in that same community down in, Kissimmee, St. Cloud. I guess it's a little bigger than a community. It's kind of a region. They all in agreement, gleaning information from different places, are like, oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, obviously the charges are coming. Fucking sweet. Celebrate. High fives and shots of whatever you like to drink all around. And that can be vodka and it can be milk. No one cares. Because this is a woman who allowed her 11, 12, 10, 13-year-old daughter to go and sleep with this strange man in her house who is shady as shit by all accounts. And not only did she do that, as I'm sure most of you know, she told her girl to go upstairs to a different floor, close the door so you're behind closed doors in a room where there's a tripod and a camcorder and some lotion called Solo Self-Pleasuring Lotion and not really much else. And you go sleep up there with him so I can take my meds and I can get a good night of sleep. And I think we probably all know about that part of it, but we're never going to get over it. We never should get over it. And I sure as heck am not. And I know so many of you agree with me, if not all, that we are refusing to get over it until this woman is in some way appropriately held responsible for her part, whether it be child neglect or whatever it is, in the death of that beautiful life, which happened to be her daughter, and that is Madeline Soto. So before we can talk about what is really going on and what the indicators are of charges coming up, for Jenn Soto. And, and I understand, that they made it very clear, and I'm making it very clear to you that this is not a guarantee. This is not a crystal ball. This is not, a sneak peek in tomorrow's docket. You know what I mean? But, after talking about it enough, I feel really relieved at the very real prospect that that's going to happen, because I know that Madeline needs it. I know that justice needs it. And I think a lot of the public who cares about children, who cares about people, who care about Maddie, and who care about justice, I think they all need it. We all need it. So I just feel this is great news. All right. What we're first going to watch, and this always gets some cheers and jeers, I know, is from Nancy Grace and her talking about Jenn Soto's so-called immunity deal. The reason I'm playing this is not to play you this great information that Nancy Grace brings us in her own special way. And sometimes that's why I play her material. But in this case, it is so we can all hear and take in and witness and watch together the misinformation, the incorrect information, the stuff that's just downright fucking, excuse me, my language, freaking wrong, that was reported out nationwide, worldwide, by someone as, well respected by a lot of people, much hated by some, but watched by many, 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 many. And she is, a highly experienced attorney. I think in general, she is a great professional. I think she usually knows what she's talking about. I think she definitely does if she takes the time to roll out her content carefully and make sure she gets all of the details right on each case, regardless of who the victim is or what the case is about. But in reporting on Jenn Soto receiving immunity, and then the details that were talked about in this episode of Nancy Grace, I'm just going to say, and you guys are already going to know this without me having to say anything about it, she's just wrong. It was really irresponsible, and we're going to correct the record on that point, as does the party who has standing in the loss of the death of Madeline Soto's life, and their retained attorneys who will correct that record officially when it's time. And for them, what that means is they're hoping, well, after charges come up for Jenn Soto and their party's case officially gets on the court schedule. Okay. I hope that made sense, because I know sometimes I try to tell you things that I'm trying to put all the pieces together the best I can, but I know that I can't put a couple final pieces in there because somebody will be really mad at me, or it'll be really bad for my channel. So if you do have any questions, please put them in the comments and I will definitely address them. But I'm going to bring that broadcast into the stream right now. And thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome. I appreciate every single one of you. If you could please hit like and maybe even share the link to the stream, that would be absolutely amazing. And yeah, just thanks so much for being the channel. If you're new, please say hello and let us know where you're from. And I actually just somebody said hello, and we ended up chatting a little bit because we had some common things going on, and we know some same people. We're friends with some same people, but live nowhere near each other. Really super cool. Oh, and I don't know if Lori is here. I met a woman in the line at the pharmacy today who might be dropping in tonight, or maybe it's going to be Friday night. We just had all these interesting comments from bunnies to true crime. And I mentioned this channel and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to come to a live. So I haven't really looked at who's here, but if you are here, Lori, or if you're watching, hey, it was great talking to you earlier. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Okay. You always got to worry when Nancy's wearing red, don't you think? I kind of feel that way.
Old. Mommy gets immunity? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
Now, wait. So just to set this up correctly. Now, listen, Nancy isn't
Sleep upstairs.
is a bar certified and sitting attorney. I am a recipient of a full scholarship to law school who dropped out like a dumb idiot. Didn't finish it, didn't pass the bar, did not get licensed, started teaching yoga. So I generally would never, ever, ever claim to know more about law than Nancy Grace, and I don't. But I do need to say what she is telling us about this immunity, it's not just me who says it's not right. It's it's the other legal experts I just told you about who told us there's going to be charges dropping soon, and they're not knowing but highly probable opinion. That didn't make too much sense. So we're after she tells her version of it and gets lots of other facts wrong. Whenever you spot a fact that is wrong or you hear it in this stream here, when on Nancy Grace's show, please just go ahead and be super obnoxious, scream it out, put it in caps and in chat, because I just want to, you guys might know, I'm sure you guys will notice some that I didn't notice, but I want to see how many people notice the kind of material errors here.
In the guest bedroom, so that I could get a good night's sleep. I think we need to get you a lawyer. But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy, not that he had done all this to her. I don't know why I wasn't thinking him. I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her.
What you just said is the sex stuff is fine.
It's not fine. I look back now and just like, he was lying. He was faking.
We can go worse.
God.
She's pregnant. Have you ever found a pregnancy test at home?
I have 2 underneath the kitchen, the bathroom sink, but I haven't seen if they're still there or not.
Joining us, an all-star panel to make sense of what we are learning now. Not only do we learn that Maddie Soto's mother, Jenn Soto, has gotten a form of immunity. What was so important that the state needed from Jenn Soto, that she's getting almost a free pass. First, to Shannon Butler joining us, investigative reporter from WFTV 9. Shannon, thank you for being with us. What do you believe it is the state?
Oh, I'm sorry. And then we're going to also listen to Pete from the Lawyer talk about what the real nature of derivative immunity is. So we're going to get like the straight shot of this, the legal mumbo jumbo on this topic. And also another attorney who just summed things up like in this really like well-stated way. And I'm so sorry, I don't even remember who it was now. It's not somebody I normally watch. Just came across and I was like, damn, man, you're on this one. Play, replay. All right. So, but for now, we're just going to take a deep breath and go, okay, Nancy. Okay, Nancy, just calm down a little bit because you're wrong.
Get from mom, Jenn Soto, that's so valuable they would give her immunity from prosecution.
Well, they didn't tell us that they had any valuable information. What they said is they couldn't find anything that would connect her to any crime. So I think what they're doing is trying to use her to help with this case more than try to continue to go after her in case that hurts the case down the road. She at least knows his behavior. So she does provide them some information, but they told us they just didn't have enough to charge her with anything in any of these scenarios.
Shannon, nobody gets immunity ever from the state unless they've got something to add testimony-wise. If you cannot pin a crime on someone, if they're not connected to a crime, fine, don't prosecute them, but you don't have to give them immunity.
Okay, I'm just going to interject here, okay, because I'm not going to have like an attorney come on or a legal expert come on live and say this, but I've been talking about this a lot the last couple days, especially after I hooked up with these people, those attorneys in Florida who are representing somebody who was standing in a case having to do with their loss being the loss of Maddie Soto's life. Get it? Okay. And I also want to say, I think it's probably not who your first guest might be, but you'll find out soon. It's not going to be this long drug out mystery like the, I don't know, like the freaking University of Idaho frat boys who I still talk to, but we're keeping mum for until that case actually starts. Anyway, yeah, that did get a little drug out, but this is going to be super quick. Hopefully, I hope it is. Well, it is with their end of the case, but I'm saying I hope the charges for Jenn really are coming like 5 minutes ago, and that's going to be news pretty soon, right? So she's saying that, so Nancy here is like, oh yeah, the state doesn't ever give somebody immunity unless they have some information that is helpful or critical. And I think this time she just said helpful or something like that, or key, but she does say critical later on here, because I was paying very, very close attention to her words. And I'm not usually too disappointed in Nancy, but in this one, it's just, I don't know. And they're not going to give somebody immunity unless they have that, because then they're just gonna, they're just gonna let them go. No. And I think she says derivative use immunity here. And I believe in Florida, derivative immunity is different than use immunity. And there's some states there's derivative use, but it gets really complicated, but she should know that. But what the attorneys in Florida that we've been just chatting back and forth the past couple of days, what they believe is the reason the prosecutor did that interview and Jenn Soto, retained an attorney who was there and gave them the time limit of 1 hour on that interview. Like you'll hear, the prosecutor, whoever's asking the questions, make some jokes about it. Like, and due to time restraints, and like in an NFL game, we're going to jump forward in time, you can tell that they're frustrated and irritated about it. You can tell that they're frustrated and irritated when they're asking Jenn Soto a question and she starts to give the answer and they're like, no, girlfriend, listen. I mean, no one said no, girlfriend. I'm saying no, girlfriend, but they're like, no, listen, wait. You do know that we already know the answer to the question we just asked you. So, sweetheart, you better think carefully about that one, because you're under oath right now. This is a sworn statement. And here's the thing, guys. And I know a lot of you know this. And the Pete from The Lawyer is, I keep wanting to say the Tilted Lawyer. Hi, Omar, but it's not him. Was going to see if I could find some content from him, but I actually think I heard Pete, I think it was on Guilty of Crime the other day. So I want to give her credit for that too, because she played this, I think, the other day. I think that's correct, guys. Just there's been a lot going on. So I think that's right, but I'll find out for sure. It does matter, but we're going to listen to him in a minute anyway. All immunity deals can be nullified, reversed, or just taken off the table when the person who is given whatever form or class of immunity lies while they are making a sworn statement under the protection of that immunity deal. I think anaphylaxis is probably the closest to verifying in chat here. Did I say that right, anaphylaxis? I think so. So even the way that this is presented without getting all the details wrong, to me was really freaking weird. And you wonder why, people are asking all these questions, and, some people are just like, some people are really strong and justice for Maddie, like we are here. But some people are giving up hope because they've been told there is no hope to be had. And I just think to do that on a platform that has as broad a reach as Nancy Grace, I'm sorry, Nancy, this kind of hurts me to say, but shame on you, sister, shame.
Listen.
I said, you guys, I need a good night's sleep. I need to take my meds. I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep. Suggested that we all sleep together in the same bed together, but not the easiest person to sleep with. She rolls around, she punches, she kicks.
Okay, guys. So many of you, I'm sure, know at this time that where the audio drops, they're saying Maddie's name. And she says it a couple other times. Maddie really, I believe in one time, I don't know if she says beg, but she uses a word that's stronger than, sorry, I just muted myself by accident. Here she says she really wanted to. She uses a phrase even stronger than that. Maddie really wanted to sleep in Jenn's bed that night, and we do not have to wonder why that is. Okay, so it was just in re-listening to this episode of Nancy Grace, unfortunately, I think I've listened to it like 3 times in the past couple of days because I keep going, wait a minute. In her inaccuracy, I'm having like aha moments, and not even like in a legal sense, but from, my perspective as a behavioral therapist and the work that we do in getting to the bottom of what people really mean and where they need intervention and support in their behavior in society, so it is not maladaptive in a way that is going to make their life suck or send them into incarceration for the rest of it. Because a lot of times that is what it'll ultimately come down to if you play out the sequence of events till the eventual end. Not always, of course. But I was like, hold it. I believe, and I'm going to lay it out for you, and you guys can tell me what you think, but I think I could, just using evidence of her lies pitted against herself with another layer of her lies, using evidence-based theory and behavioral therapy, make a legal case for her, either complicit involvement or at the very least child neglect as it relates to her daughter Madeline Soto during this relevant time frame and as it relates to her death. And listen, if I can do it, there are plenty of other people out there that can too, and are probably being paid specifically to do that, which makes me all the more certain that charges are going to come up for Jenn Soto, hopefully in short order, like our friends in Florida very strongly believe, and for very good reason.
We have obtained crime scene photos.
Ooh.
Jenn Soto
from
and her
YouTubers.
then live-in boyfriend.
Give them credit, Nancy, because that's where you guys got them. Give them credit. I don't know if it was Plunder or The Docket or Grizzly, but I like how like Vinny Palatano or on Court TV will give the YouTubers credit in all cases when they source their the footage they obtained from a hardworking YouTube channel. But Nance, we got another strike, girl. I don't know. We might have to take a little break from each other. I don't know if this is really working for me anymore. Maybe we should go hang out with Ashley Banfield.
Kicked out of the condo while police effected a search. We've obtained those photos. First, let's look at Maddie's room. Her room was essentially part of the downstairs living room, and it was essentially a bed cordoned off by this see-through partition there on the bottom level of the home. What more do we learn in the crime scene photos? Those boxers right there belong to Stefan Stern. They were pictured at, and that's Maddie's bedroom area. Those boxers in her laundry basket were pictured in the videos that were found on his phone.
Now, okay, it's almost redundant and ridiculous, and to pause here to point this out, but let's just all acknowledge and reflect on the blatant, obvious, smack you in the face. You can be a dumb, lazy potato who doesn't work, and you still are going to easily pick up on these cues. His fucking dirty boxers are on the top of Madeline Soto's dirty clothes basket, and her, what's supposed to be private, but in reality is semi-private, but not even, and also just kind of an FU to my child, even though I have an open spare bedroom. You can hang out here in a space she was very uncomfortable in. The boxers are right there, the top thing in Madeline Soto's dirty clothes basket. And that, oh God, I just pray this woman gets charged. I've been saying this to you guys from the beginning, since we started talking about this case, and I feel it only more strongly with each passing day and each passing story and each passing breath I hear Jenn Soto utter something about, needing her sleep or anything. If Florida does not charge her with something, then we have to do something, and we will do something. Oh, God, I have so many thoughts all at once. Can a moderator remind me later about that, doing something? The attorneys in Florida I'm talking to, and also the Micah Miller case, that all ties together. Because like this is a kind of example, whereas in our justice system, it is critical, it is a foundational pillar of our justice system that we all give a shit, that we participate, that we act as the guardians of our own justice and one another's justice, and justice that is going to make our society the best possible place for ourselves, our families, our children, our neighbor, and all of the humanity, and bunnies, of course. And as people who live in a community where we are afforded privileges and rights, and I know that's every single person listening in here right now, because if you weren't afforded privileges and rights, you would be living in a country that either did not have the capability to tune into this this live stream, or your government would have banned you from doing so, right? We know that. So I feel very comfortable in saying, and I know that most of you agree, and if you don't, that's okay, but I hope you decide you do agree, that we all have a responsibility in the justice system. And if we care about this case, and we care about Madeline Soto, and this woman is not charged related to the negligence of the care for her life and the eventuality and actuality of her death, then we have to have a really big problem with that. Or we should just go all start watching cooking channels. And I have no business being the creator of a true crime channel. I feel very strongly about that. This woman needs to be held accountable for her part.
And then in the next photo, you see her bedding, Maddie Soto's bedding, which also appeared in the sex molestation videos on Stefan Stern's home, according to police. That bedding proves it happened in the home. So we now know that, according to police,
Wait a minute.
and the murder happened in the home. It's extremely
Wait a minute. She
poignant
just said
that on
something
her
wrong there
bed are
that I
her
didn't even
little
catch before. I'm
stuffed
sorry.
animals. But to
I'm sorry
another
for
shot, all of that bed.
exposing you to all this irresponsible inaccuracy reporting of details on this very important case. I can't even believe this. I'm sorry. I have to go back a minute there. If I will stand corrected. Actually, I'm really tired and I'm sitting, and I'm not going to stand for that event should it happen, but I don't think it will. I will sit corrected and let you know if I just freaked out for no reason there. But I think there was a reason.
Stefan Stern's home, according to police. That bedding proves found on his phone and photos. Those boxers right there belong to Stefan Stern. They were pictured at, and that's Maddie's bedroom area. Those boxers in her laundry basket were pictured in the videos that were found on his phone. And then in the next photo, you see her bedding, Maddie Soto's bedding, which also appeared in the sex molestation videos on Stefan Stern's home, according to police.
Okay, so wait a minute. Maybe I do sit corrected. I say all the time, I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. And maybe I'm wrong about this, or sometimes I just know I'm right because I am. And I'll let you know that. And I'll say, I'm not right about that. I'm not wrong about this one. But this is something I'm glad it actually kind of came up. Thanks to Nancy. No, thanks to Nancy. It doesn't really matter, does it? Was Madeline Soto's bedding, meaning this bedding that is on her, or would be on her bed in her makeshift, I'm a parent that doesn't parent bedroom. Does that appear in the pictures on Stefan Stern's phones as far as you guys are aware? Or was that in a room that was not her bedroom? And if you're not aware, that's okay. I know there's a definitive answer. I think that it's probably pretty important what that answer is. So that's why I want to just pause and ask here. Yeah, Edward doesn't make mistakes. That's funny. Okay, so I'm not seeing. Hold on. I'm gonna just grab a couple comments. I make sure you guys are having great things to say as always. You little a true. Wait, never mind. I don't want to mix cases. Never mind. Never mind. I'll find a better name for you. Let's see. Vicky, welcome, Vicky Maynard. How you doing? Says, wow, I wonder if the last video or pics were with those boxers and bedding. I've always wondered if they were downstairs that night. Well, hey, I hadn't even thought about that because in my mind, like, because we know Jen sent them up to bedroom 4, that they were up there the whole time. But God, imagine if he just, oh my God. I don't even want to say what I was going to, I just don't, I mean, it wasn't that terrible compared to where mines have already gone, but I just, poor Maddie, man. Let's see. Oh yeah, girl, that was terrible. Kylie, and welcome, Kylie. I'm so glad you're here. Says, Paula's videos where she lined up the time that I'm sorry, my contacts are like really foggy. I need to put my glasses on, take these out. The time that she texted Chris Stearns, Stefan Stearns' father, saying that he needs a lawyer in its proximity to when she found out what Stefan Stearns did to Maddie and saw pictures of his junk in her daughter's mouth. Paula, who is Plunder, Paula Mooney, who is the channel Plunder, did a great video lining that all up. So you're like, holy shit, I am right there in real time. And that couldn't possibly be more fucked up. That she saw that, learned that, and then got on the phone with Chris Stearns and said, we need to get Stefan a lawyer. What? That is such an unnatural thought. You know, even for a bad mother, a mother with suffering from bipolar disorder, a mother with Asperger's or autism, a mother with a number of different conditions that she talks about herself definitely having, or, you know, Stefan Stearns and Maddie having as though they're the same person. And all of those are, you know, populations, those descriptors of condition, she gave all of them. You know what? Those are the, you know, those are people I work with every single day. Have been doing it for a while. The way she reacted in so many instances, including the one that Kylie is so rightfully pointing out now, has nothing to do with any of that. It just doesn't. And I know that there are people that would disagree with me on that point. But I mean, that is my opinion. And I would make a case for it all day long, in tomorrow and back into last week.
Bedding proves happened in the home. So we now know that, according to police, and the murder happened in the home. It's extremely poignant that on her bed are her little stuffed animals.
You know, but I'm sorry, I just have to say again, whether or not, and I'm sort of feeling like Maddie's bedding wasn't in any
shot all of that bed,
but maybe it was. I could be wrong about that. But whether or not it was, you know, Nancy Grace making that point right there is so, you know, like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, Jenn Soto identifies them as being in her home and in specific rooms. The police officers who were in there themselves saw things in those photos and saw certain things in that room, then saw certain things on certain junk. And, you know, it like, for her to make it sound like it was all based on that is, it's just sensationalism. And this case does not need sensationalism. It's already horrific enough on its own. Just like when people try to add sensationalism to the Watts case or the Idaho case, just freaking stop. Stick with the facts. It doesn't get any crazier or more dramatic or sensational than that. Like, don't confuse people because you want to try to have an interesting angle on it that you don't. And I'm really sad that Nancy's doing that. Shame, Nancy. Shame. I'd like you to write a letter of apology to our viewers and maybe put yourself in a corner and take some time away.
Of course, becomes state's exhibits. We believe this is another room where Stefan Stearns slept on occasion. And we know that the room where he slept with Maddie at her mother's direction had a lock on the door. And I mean, not just the kind that go with the doorknob, full on locks.
This is where he slept on occasion. So this broadcast, by the way, was 1 month ago. The world was well aware long before 1 month ago. And if you're new to the case and you're not well aware, don't think I'm being like, oh, you didn't know that, loser, right? You're new to the case. You're learning about it. That's why I like to back up over a lot of these details for people who know the case, for myself, because there's always so many crazy details in these true crime cases, and for all of us to get on the same page. And also for people who are new to the case. So, we're not just talking, on this, in this way that doesn't make sense to you, because we want you included too. So, the whole world knew way, before just a month ago, that Stefan Stearns, starting at this time frame, I think it was June, ending in December, maybe it was July, December, was renting out a room every single night on a $600 per month monthly basis that his father, Chris Stearns, was picking up the bill for, along with everything else, except for when he bought himself some goodies and toys that, with the money I believe he earned on Telegram. If you haven't watched my documentary video on that, I would love for you to, and I'd love to hear what you think, because I don't know, I think we got really freaking close, if not almost a bullseye on that one. So, for her to say, I think this is a room he was staying in. He stayed in sometimes, and, and I don't want to make this a critique video or reaction video of Nancy Grace. No, thank you. But, it's important that at least we know the correct details.
You were seeing crime
Certainly was important to Maddie.
scene photos that we obtained from police files. Back to Shannon Butler joining us, WFTV 9. Shannon, many would argue that sending your daughter to go sleep with your adult living boyfriend is gross neglect that exposed her.
I mean, the
Yeah.
public here in Central Florida has said over and over again, we don't understand. We don't understand how she's not held to any accountability in this situation. But like I've told you before, police just don't seem to have anything they want to charge her with.
Such a great point. And the party that is standing in a case involving, the loss is being the death of Madeline Soto, and the retained legal counsel just text me a thumbs up and some cheers. Like, they feel that way too. That was part of the discussion that we've had, that I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't know if I would have thought to relate to you, but I've heard, and I don't know if you guys have heard this from different sources too, people who actually are down there also. Like, I've heard some people say, oh yeah, no one in, Central Florida even knows about this case. No one gives a shit. Everyone's like moved on. People are like, oh, she's not getting charged, whatever. No, they say the exact opposite. They say there's great interest. And here's the really good news. Over the past 3 weeks or so is just what is how they measured over the past 3 weeks. And I don't know, was there something that happened specifically 3 weeks ago that amped it up? I'm asking if you're able to give me an answer. There's been palpable increasing excitement for the possibility of not perfect, but near complete justice for Maddie, if and only if Jenn Soto is charged. But not at all if she is not. And I was so stoked to hear that from people who are actually in Central Florida. So, I guess there's just different reporting on this case all around, but I'm hoping that we are helping here right now to sort of file the facts down the middle lane and kind of, like pluck out the I was just going to say something that could sound obnoxious. Pluck out the non-facts, so we only have facts in our little ducky lane. Sorry, that's the best I could come up with after I omitted something else. Okay, back to Nan.
And speaking of mom, Jenn Soto's response after Maddie first goes missing, this is what she said.
When you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if she,
Oh
what
man,
if he
hold
did
on
this
just one
stuff
second,
fine,
guys.
but what if she still
All right, hopefully that won't happen again. The last Watts live stream, it happened like in the first minute, and it didn't happen again. Streamer, freaking stop doing that, please. Okay, bringing Jenn Soto back in, and I mean, yes, this is one of the many things she said that just makes you go, what? Like if we were all sitting in like around a table, the same room, like having our favorite dinner, just hanging out, true crime buds, we'd all look at each other and be like, what? What did she just say? Because like you just don't say stuff like this because what? Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Let me bring it back in and then we can all get back at our dinner table and make those faces. Jeez. This woman is, and I have definitely considered two possibilities or combination of both, that she's just really like mentally unwell. And that's why all of this, like, what? What did she just say? Or the other alternative, if we had to pick one, there's knowledgeable, willing, and criminal liability at play, or a combination of both. I have kind of, at first I was like combination of both, right? I don't know. It's kind of the safe one to go with, especially as a YouTube creator. You can make everyone a little happy like that, which is not what I ever try to do. But the more I started to think about it and the more I started to look at profiles of mothers who actually have criminal liability or took part in the murder of their own child or the cover up of that murder, you don't see the two playing together. Like a little of this fucked upness was because of my mental disorders, and some of this fucked upness was just because I was complicit or was an accessory after the fact in murdering my child. I hope that makes sense. A lot of people, especially some women, and we can get probably not tonight, but maybe Sarah night, we can talk about some examples of those. We'll try to play the two off because it's cutesy. And, as a woman, I feel like, yeah, sometimes it might work because, if you get the right group of men who think women are just kind of dumb or weak or whatever, or other women, who knows, or just, that might work. But I think in terms of practical matters, as far as what I know to be true and what the science of behavioral therapy and applied behavioral therapy knows about human beings, it's going to be one or the other. So when given the choice, it's very clear to me that it's criminal knowledge and liability and not just a really mentally ill woman. Do I think she's like mentally clean as a whistle and sharp? Heck no. But I also do not believe that she is unwell as she portrays herself to be. You might disagree, and that's okay. But okay, back to Nancy to tell us more weird things.
when somebody took her, I still wanted to believe in his. I believed him. I believed his whole story.
I gotta go back a little further.
He had done anything evil to her.
In this situation. But like I've told you before, police just don't seem to have anything they want to charge her with.
And speaking of
no.
Jenn Soto's response after Maddie first
And
goes
even that woman upsets me, and people like her that have come on to shows like this, police just don't have anything they want to charge her with. No, people, police didn't have anything they wanted to charge her with at that point for a myriad of possible reasons in the realm of law enforcement strategic moves or just capabilities if they are abiding by the own laws which they are enforcing. So all that means is they hadn't charged her at that moment yet, or possibly, and they never will. But it's not like, oh, they just didn't want to charge her. No, it's a moment in time, bitches. Haven't you watched like more complex, like, crime movies like The Godfather or something? It doesn't all happen like overnight and like Nancy Grace's like weekly show time frame.
Missing? This is what she said.
Godfather was not the greatest example, but it was the one that popped in my head, and there was only one. Didn't have a choice.
You guys showed me the picture of her. I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like,
okay, you showed me the picture of his junk in my daughter's mouth. She's a child. She's not even 13 yet. She's a child. She's in late elementary school or middle school. So Jenn Soto says, you just showed me a picture of Stefan's shit and my daughter's mouth. Him abusing her in that way. I can't stand it when people say they were together. Maddie and Stefan were together. No, they were not together. He abused her and assaulted her in that way, right? We all know that. So, I just saw that picture and I was like, okay, well, but I didn't want to think he did anything evil. How can you have just seen that picture, say out of your own mouth, and you showed me that picture and follow it up with, okay, so maybe that, but I didn't want to think he did anything evil. That is so out of the realm of like, I don't know, man. This woman needs to be charged to the fullest extent of the law. That is just some really, really sick, twisted stuff. And I work with a lot of twisted minds and have for a while. And maybe you have too, or you just know about them, or maybe yours is as well. We all know how messed up that is.
no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her? I still wanted to believe I believed him. I believed his whole story. So I was just like, I kept repeating that part. I'm just like, what if she did get dropped off? What if she got abducted? What if she's missing?
Okay, Shannon Butler joining me, investigative reporter, WFTV 9. Did I just hear mommy correctly? She says, when you showed me the picture of her, which I think is a euphemism for her boyfriend, her daughter, and videoing it on his cell phone, I think that's the picture that she's talking about.
It
Quote,
is.
I believe the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe he had done anything evil to her.
Yeah, and you can hear from that interaction with those deputies, there was a lot of pause that they took, even after we talked about this later on, about why she didn't quite understand that what was happening there, at least in that interview, was evil and was wrong. There was a lot of concern about that in the beginning. That's what started them really trying to take a look to see if there was any involvement with Jenn Soto and what had happened to Madeline Soto. It was that comment right there that kind of started that ball rolling.
Now, here goes this one. Hold it. Just one
She better
second. Give me a
have some-
second. All right, y'all. Sorry about that again. So as I was saying, there goes that one spouting off in the mouth again, saying, oh, it was that moment right there that caused law enforcement to know this and this. No, honey, I'm sure that moment was a jaw dropper, but there were many just like it. I don't know why she feels this need to keep trying to, pinpoint this one moment where it brought everything together when it was not that. That is to grossly simplify and minimize the critical nature of Jenn Soto's criminal role in the assault, molestation, and murder of her own daughter. To have to try to pinpoint it on this one moment, that's I really don't understand this. I think I'm actually done with this Nancy Grace episode. It's making me a little too discombobulated, and I'm already discombobulated for reasons about this case and others. So yeah, we're going to move on from that. That's I don't know what they're doing there. Oh, actually, hold it. There's just one other little tiny bit I want you to hear. And then let me know next if you want to hear the Tilted Lawyer's perspective on the derivative immunity situation. I'm not Tilted Lawyer, I'm sorry. Lawyer, two favorite lawyer channels. Sometimes I get them mixed up, not in reality, but when I speak the names. Or if you want to listen to that derivative immunity interview from Jenn Soto or certain parts of it. And then we're definitely going to have to pick up more of this on Saturday night because there is so much more to talk about that I had planned that I'm not going to try to fit in tonight because I just simply cannot do it. And I want to give it the attention it deserves. So we're going to do it right rather than me trying to squeeze in 4 hours of material I thought I was going to be able to do in 1.5 into whatever ends up being, I don't know, something that doesn't really work out. Okay.
In exchange for immunity, which means she will not be prosecuted for anything
so wrong.
deriving from those statements that she gave under immunity. But that
I'm sorry, I just have to know, do I need to end the live stream, go take a nappy and maybe eat a cookie and get a good night's rest, wake up and look at this with fresh eyes? Or does this make you just as freaking mad as it's making me? Where, first of all, the things Jenn Soto's saying, then Nancy Grace saying, what this means, everybody, is she's saying this, but she's got immunity. She's not going to get one single charge when we know even on we are not Juris Doctorates, bar sitting, licensed attorneys, but immunity has been taken off the table, revoked, reversed, and just thrown in the garbage, ripped up or spit on, or however you want it served up, just because the person who was supposed to be receiving that deal got caught in a lie. I mean, it happens all the time and in really big cases. So, I don't know. Yeah, Edward Schwank says, but Nancy needs to dramatize stuff to get those ratings. Yeah, I always like to, I don't know, I always like to support other creators and true crime people, whether big or small. Or so I, as you know, I can be naive about all things at times. And I feel like maybe I was on this one and I'm just working through my emotions. So thank you for doing it with me. Thank you, Vicky. Yes, please do hit the like button. Can we keep going with Nancy? You want MK? We can do that if you want to. Oh my God, Kaylee. Oh my God. I know. I was almost, it's so frustrating. Kaylee says, have you ever listened to the car ride audio on March 1st of Jenn being driven to the soft room interview? Incredibly probative. I super agree on that. So Jenn thinks that she's being taken to the press conference and she's going to be meeting Stefan there, and you can hear her handing over her dog to Chris Stearns. And Chris Stearns, I don't know. There's something about Chris Stearns I like. Obviously he didn't raise an upstanding human being, but I really don't know with what we know about the nature nurses virtue aspects of truly, well, I mean, I hate to say that they're pedophiles that are not pathological because it isn't in a way, but the most extremely pathological pedophiles, which I believe Stefan Stearns falls in that corner, or I'm sorry, in that category. I mean, just I'm casually saying, I believe there is more solid data-based evidence that shows they're just kind of born as those, like the most satanic motherfuckers of the universe, Anyway, so Jenn is handing over the dog to Chris Stearns, and he's like sitting in the console or something, and he's like, is he going to sit down? And Jenn's like, oh no, he's just going to sit there and watch you drive or something. And he's like, oh, so he's going to be a critic. I don't know. He's just trying to, you can tell he's trying to bring some levity to what he rightfully thinks should be this horrifying moment in Jenn Soto's life. Her baby girl is missing. Oh my God, where could she be? She just turned 13. She's this beautiful, sweet, precious little girl with all this personality they described. She must be devastated. And I think we feel and see and hear him talk about in retrospect instances of him trying to deliver her that, levity in the form of love and compassion and being there for her, even though she was not his favorite, as a solo flavor or well, anyway. And she's just like, she doesn't receive it because what he's putting out, that care for a loving mother, is just, it doesn't really exist because Jenn is not that. And then while Jenn is taking that car ride to the blue soft couch, where she sits for that really long interview, she's talking like casually and kind of, we're going to have to listen to some of it. We should listen to most of it. Actually, I'm actually was just thinking recently, we have to listen to that. Cause every time I listen to it, I'm like, hot damn, this is like, whoa, she's bubbly and flirty with the, law enforcement agent who's driving her. And, she says a lot of things with her, I know I committed a horrible crime and I probably don't want to get charged with it. She lets that guard down, and it is very probative, just like Haley said. All right. I'm just going to go down and read a couple comments. I'm trying to see, there's just so many directions we go from here. I'm going to go wherever you guys really want to go. It's the one I listen to the most. Yeah, Kelly, you know what? That's the most I've listened to it the most recently. And I think that you're spot on and getting all of that out of it. Yeah. Have you guys heard that? Sweet, Guilty of Crime is here. Guilty of Crime. I was pumping you up earlier, as you know. Did you hear what I said at the beginning, Jay? And I will, if you want to talk or text, well, I'd rather have a voice to voice about it. If you want to talk tomorrow, I will privately kind of give, I can exchange a little more information with you. You want that interview? The derivative immunity interview or the transportation to the soft couch, aka the facade of the press conference interview, which really is an interview. It's just a recording. So I think you want the derivative immunity interview. Is that right? Oh, yeah. Best nickname goes to Jay for sure. And Jay, I also would like to be one of the first people to order the hashtag I took my med sweatshirt, because I am probably actually going to need many of them because I might never want to take it off because it's just awesome. Oh my God. All right. Transportation interview says MM Clar. And all right. All right. I'm going to go to the transportation interview. Let me just continue to play this for just a moment though, because I've got to find it now. I know where it is though, but it's just going to take a minute.
That's not all. Even after she realizes police are focusing on her live-in, listen.
But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy. I wanted to think he was a good guy still, but clearly
Ugh.
he's not. After everything you guys have told me and have shown me, I know he's the worst person on this face of the
You know
earth right
that
now.
now.
I started
But I know it's not evil also.
saying
No
to him,
sense.
like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, we need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person. And he kept saying the same thing. He kept repeating what I was repeating. That they're focusing on the wrong person.
How could she even fucking think of that? Her daughter is missing. How could you think of anything but where is my baby and how can I find her and get her back safely? Like, how many people are looking for her? What are the updates? Can we get more feet on the ground? Where are our sources of information? Open up more channels now. How could you even think of, I need to get that bitch a lawyer? I know we have all been fired up about that, but I know we are all again too, so it's fine. I'm sure I'm in good company, but man, charge her. So we can all get a good night of sleep and then pick back up at the very least. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me continue to inflame everyone, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Raymond Giudice, veteran defense attorney, former prosecutor. The mom says, hey, live in. They're focusing on you. We got to get you a lawyer pronto. What? Okay. Whoa. So she knows her daughter's missing. She knows the boyfriend was last with the daughter.
Yeah.
She knows the boyfriend somehow knows what the daughter's wearing when she goes missing. She's sending them to bed together when she wants a good night's sleep. How she could sleep through that, I do not know.
Seriously.
But now, when police let it be known, he is the suspect, the prime suspect. She's saying, hey, honey, we got to get you a lawyer. I mean, my fingers are tingling. What I would do if someone touched the twins. And she's trying to get him a lawyer?
At least
Nancy,
you're right about that,
clearly,
Nancy.
prosecution here, and I think not to attack these deputies, they should have had a much more experienced either assistant district attorney or a serious investigator that specializes in crimes against women and children. They did not need to do the statement this way and give her immunity. She hasn't. She hasn't been accused of anything.
You guys are so
and
wrong.
I think that's
Oh
the
my
way it's
God,
going
I
to be
can't
unless
even with these
the
people.
prosecution, and it's a very high burden, can find evidence of a crime against her outside of this statement. And the burden shifts
Oh,
to the
guys, hold on
prosecution
just one second. So yeah, dude. So that guy that was just speaking, Jay, how can they be so wrong so consistently? The guy that was just speaking, who at least looks like he's had many years practicing law, saying, well, they gave her derivative immunity. She can't be charged. It's a very high standard because what derivative immunity means is anything that you say that implicates a crime that was not already known as work product of the investigation. And then there's another clause that says, or could be known. And it's a very sort of narrow definition, needs to basically be forgiven and forgotten. And yeah, that's true. That is a high standard. Unless you are caught within that interview for which you are receiving derivative immunity in pencil writing and lots of cap erasers around. You are caught in a lie while you are making a sworn statement, which the prosecutor during that interview says a few times right to her in so many words or in some slightly different words. Yet no, stop. No, we already know the truth. So now you're going to go back, think about that again, tell us the truth. Her beginning an utterance of deception legally is lying while making a sworn statement. I am a million times % sure of that. And why Nancy Grace and this dude and all these other people, I feel like, the bulk of the masses out there, all of a sudden there was this kind of like, morning, Jen received, the immunity deal. It's done, man. We're not going to get her. Let's focus on Stefan Stearns. And to me, what that also says is essentially forget Maddie. It's just so bizarre to me. I just wasn't planning on being so all panties up in a bunch about it tonight, but apparently I am. Oh, there. So now we are definitely going to, pick this back up Saturday night. And again, the John Benet Ramsey live stream is going to be Friday night because I love Kelly's idea. We are going to listen to the transportation recording, but we're getting a little unsequential now, which is fine because there's nothing sequitur about this horrible situation and, the way the case is breaking down. So it's all good, but here we go.
That the statement did not lead to the finding of any new evidence. They had enough evidence on his phone alone to put him with a no bond, and that would be here in Atlanta, on the images, the child porn images on his phone. You let him sit, you let him stew, and you continue to investigate the case. But she's got immunity, and the prosecution.
Dude, he's so dumb. He's too old and experienced to be that dumb. I'm sorry. But no, here's another reason that they may have wanted to have done that. So they can further probe into the appropriate, and I hope this is maybe me being wishful thinking, but this is done all the time, the most appropriate and punishing to the fullest extent of the law charges that might be available for Miss Soto in lieu of her Botox treatment. That would be another reason more valid than the convoluted blah, 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 he was just putting out there to hold that interview under the pencil with cap racer agreement, because that's how it always is, of derivative immunity. Y'all, I mean, I don't know. Y'all write like Nancy. I don't know. Don't do that. That's like a waste of energy. Y'all just be mad with me. Okay. All right. I'm going to bring that.
Unless they know something else up their sleeve against her. She's got that pass, Nancy, to get out of jail.
Dumb people. I hate dumb people.
I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep. I think we need to get you a lawyer. But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy, not that he had done all this to her.
The most important thing today is to tell the truth. I also explained derivative use immunity, which means if you said that there was a gun, and obviously there's no gun in this case, buried in your attorney's yard, we couldn't go dig up that gun if you told us that, oh yeah, there's the gun that was used is right there. We wouldn't be able to do that. We would have to show that we learned all those things independently from this interview.
It's called derivative use immunity. Lawyers love to make everything sound so complicated, and they also like to throw in Latin phrases. So be ready for that.
Well, that is the
derivative
language of the
use
law.
immunity. Immunity is like an immunization, right? That protects you from, let's just say, the measles or the mumps, the vaccine. Immunity in this case means immunity from prosecution in exchange for your statement. Derivative use immunity means you can't be prosecuted from anything that comes from your statement. That is what derivative use immunity means. In a nutshell, Ray, yes, no.
Yes, absolutely. I would have charged
you can do it in one word. You owe me $1. Okay. Yes. All right. Now, Ray, I want you to hear the bit that we've managed to obtain, then I'll bring in the rest of the panel. We've gotten some of her new statement that she gave after getting immunity. For those of you just joining us, Maddie Soto was for years under her own mother's roof by mommy's part-time live-in. When I say part-time, the rest of the time, he lived in
Give
his
me a
own mother's
second.
house.
Oops. He's streaming. Where you at? Okay. Kaylee, I can't, I'm just like a little tired. It gets a little late for me, these like evening live streams, but doesn't Plunder have the transportation recording, or just because I'm looking for it where I believe I found it before and I cannot find it? Plunder has it. Okay. So rather than starting that again, I'm going to get all worked up and distracted. You just give me 1 second here, folks. I will find it. If Kaylee says it's definitely there, I also believed it was definitely there, so it's there. And so we're going to grab that. And yeah, if you haven't heard it, you're definitely going to want to hear this. It's like, what? And these are the first whats, because you have to remember this transportation interview, as we could call it, and it's sometimes called, is before the blue squishy couch interview, not related to my squishy bunny, of course. So this is where some of the not yet had initial what the fuck moments actually do happen, or as Kaylee said much more artfully, it's very probative. Okay, just giving me a sec so I can bring that up. And did you guys hear like the I don't know, I hadn't heard it until just recently. I know it was on Gavin Fish and Plunder did a video on it. The interview that either was just more newly released, like in the past couple of weeks, or hadn't yet been heard, the second interview, or is it third, by Maddie's best friend, that was pretty interesting too. There's some little moments in there that are kind of scary. Sorry, I'm like moving very slowly today. Okay, so we have lots of messages. Tweet, she knew. Jamie Komorowski, police interviews from jail after she's the woman who going 60 miles an hour in an SUV wasted. I think she almost blew up 4.0, not 0.40, which would be, well, it was something stupid. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, but her interviews with her dad and her boyfriend, Evan. I'm just reading through Plunder's little selections here. Okay, but I'm going to stop doing that. In here. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry for the dead air. I know people usually just jam out the second that happens, but if anybody has a link, I'm not looking StreamYard right now, but please hook it up for me, because apparently this is a complicated task for me at the moment. Let's see. She knew the 6th high school. Okay, so she put it up way before that. So keep going. Okay, we got to be close. Oh, God. When she cried about her birthday. Jay, when I was listening to your stream the other day and you were correcting somebody, and that was so awesome because you were so good with the facts. The only thing I wanted to correct you on was, I think at some point you said that we never saw actual tears from Jenn Soto, except for when she realized it was her birthday the next day, which was very telling. Oh my gosh. I'm still looking for it. Come on. There we go. I think this is the one. Is it the one that's under, I feel so exposed? Because I don't think it's just, you know what? I better check in with you guys in chat. Good night, Jay, sweetheart. Thank you for stopping in. Check my email. Oh, check my email. Is there a link? Did someone gift me a link? Oh, thank you, Kaylee. Oh my goodness. I should have looked a long time ago. Thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate that. Okay. And thank you. And Kez, thank you very much. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. And then I'm just going to let it play and I'm going to shut up because I've said a lot tonight already. Oh, awesome, Kaylee. Thank you so much. Oh, and Pepper, I still have to send you that copy of the Dylan Tallman book. I promise I will this week. I've had a lot of emergencies with my teens at work this week. I don't know, sometimes right before the holidays, that kind of thing happens. Oh, yeah, that's the one I just clicked on. Okay, cool. You got it first, though. Good. I think I'm just going to... No, it's a little too long. All right, I'm bringing it in, guys. Everyone say thank you to Kaylee. Kylie. Kaylee or Kylie? Kylie, I'm sorry. I keep saying your name wrong, man. I do need a good night's sleep. I'm really sorry about that. I hate saying people's names wrong.
We've already looked at her April 18th one, that one she was compelled to come to. You know, I don't recall that one. So let's look at it all. With this one, you are going to need your headphones because all the road noise and somebody's rustling with something. So it's a lot of distractions. And you'll hear my watermark, unfortunately or fortunately. It's something I had to do. And lying to police, basically, especially Stefan. The jury's still out on what Jennifer knows or didn't know. We've watched those body cams quite a bit. Tuesday night, asked if he should be talking to a lawyer. Shortly after that, Stefan covered prior to this, anyone was in that condo while flew out from college.
Okay, here.
But she's explaining that she believes.
If you haven't seen it yet, this whole video is awesome. Definitely watch the whole thing, but let's just get to where the recording starts.
Steve, her ex-husband, was having a hard time finding a job there in Florida that he liked, and that's why he moved off to Colorado to get some type of apprenticeship or something like that. I think she says they might have moved away a year or two, Steve and his wife. They are also speaking of the type of ranch-style home.
All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Are there any other streaming services other than StreamYard? Cool. Oh.
Here.
I know Detective Morris asked it earlier, but I'm kind of curious. Why didn't you go search for her? I know you said that you didn't typically know where to look, but was there any other reasons why you didn't want to go search?
I wanted to be at home to make sure somebody would be home if she came home. I didn't want the house to be alone. And then the last few days, I just feel like I don't know, the media have been like bombarding us, and since
I just want to say the audio gets like so much better. Don't get like totally bugged out by this. This is like the rough patch of it, okay?
like more news has come to light, it's just I've been feeling overwhelmed with the attention, and I just need to like preserve my mental health. I just have to stay home and
Yeah.
that's right. I tried to go out a little bit yesterday to like keep my mind off of things, just to buy like, I don't have a toothbrush, I don't have anything. But the moment we were out in public, I felt so exposed and like I shouldn't be out. I shouldn't be doing any of this. I grabbed what I needed quickly and we left. But I don't want to be out in public right now.
And that's funny because she later says she tells that exact same story. She's like, yeah, I went over I stayed at my sister Stephanie's house and I went out, I had to get a deodorant and toothbrush. And I was just like, oh, I was really uncomfortable. I just wanted to like get out of the store because people are coming up to me with all of their heavy emotions. And I mean, I can understand that. Like, you know, if it is your child and you really give a shit, like that could, yeah, man, that could drown you. But she's like, you know, I just couldn't deal with everyone else's emotions. And it's just so much in the way she says the words. Certainly is not in the way she moves, but it is in the way she chooses her words.
Did you feel like people were watching you?
Not people were watching me, but I just didn't like the night before that, the security guard's reaction to me telling her my name and who I was, and that I was coming into my apartment. That overloaded me so much, seeing someone it's just weird. It's just very heavy to handle other people's emotions when you're dealing with your own. Like, you have to like comfort everyone. When all I want is to be comforted. It's really heavy when the entire family.
Damn, I cleaned this audio way up. I didn't even realize that was the same part of the interview. I don't know if I downloaded it yet though, but anyway, I already cleaned this audio way up because this is sick noise interference. I just did that a while ago for myself. If you guys want me to, I can upload it tomorrow. I just like a normal video, or I can do it unlisted. I mean, it's not, you know, just if you guys want to have that where you can like better hear, I would obviously pop it in right now, but at this time of night, it would take the video over half an hour to download with all of the audio editing I did to it.
Everyone's freaking down around it. Slang low to preserve my mental health.
True crime audio.
Just worried. In the past, I've been hospitalized for my mental health issues, and I'm just afraid like that this is gonna make me spiral again. So I'm just trying to stay sane.
Trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
Too.
I don't want to end up back in the hospital again.
How could you even worry about you ending up in a hospital when your only child is missing? It's just, you know, and we all know it, and you've all pointed out in your own minds, and other people pointed out to you, but like I said before, and I know many of you probably have to feel the same, every time I listen to these things again, it is added confirmation, and confirmation in spades. Because she knew what Maddie's fate was already. And I feel like it almost feels like too harsh or ignorance to say this, but I truly believe she just didn't really care. And man, knowledge of a death of a minor, and I don't know if there's really any charges that can go with not giving a shit if your child is alive or not, other than if the neglect led to it. But you know, that sort of behavior towards the most vulnerable among us, our society's own children, has to be recognized as unacceptable, prosecutable, and highly and severely punishable. there are charges coming. There have to be. There's no other way. Florida would be the biggest fool of a state in the history of, well, I guess the United States of America, right? So a little over 2 months. But anyway, it's going to happen. I have faith.
I don't want
More today than I did the day before, and a little more than even the day before.
to be unstable again.
Well, you got some of your family here, so
Yeah,
that's some support.
for sure. Everyone's being so helpful. I didn't realize it. I knew I had family and I knew we had community, but I didn't realize it was as big as this was until everything has happened, and I see how everyone is supporting and loving and helping us with, flyers or searching. Everyone keeps wanting to create like a search group so that we all go searching for her. But I don't want anyone to get in the way of you guys, because I know you guys keep searching different parks, different forests. I don't even know if those are the right places to look anymore. From what you guys have told me, and from apparently him driving all around town.
I mean, I kind of feel like someone needs to be here on panel, so I just stopped saying the obvious, like I'm just dumb. I mean, okay, your child is missing, and you say to anyone in law enforcement, I don't know if I want the entire community, the volunteers and droves of hundreds and thousands to even be going out there because they might cross paths with you. Well, girlfriend, your only child is missing. It's like, oh my God. Oh, Florida, I will pray every day, every hour of every day until you finally do it. And we now have more verification that hopefully our hopes and prayers are going to come to fruition. Let's make it in time for Christmas, baby. That she is going to be charged for the fate that she willingly, knowingly, and actively didn't single-handedly create for her daughter, but there's cases to be made about the proportion of blame that can be assigned, and I'll leave that to somebody who's more mathematical than I am, but damn, Jenn Soto, you are one nasty potato.
For the longest time, I thought she could be somewhere close to the school, like if something happened on the way to school, but from what you guys are telling me.
And just like, I'm like, every time you look at his disgusting face and greasy hair and pimples and slimy, blubbery, blech, like just repulsive body, thinking that Maddie, oh God, like what the frick? Like that aspect of it alone, thank you for the nice visuals, Plunder, but they're powerful visuals and there was provided to us. This is the reality of it. Just thinking of that is what that woman sent her beautiful, pure, sweet angel of a daughter up to bed with every day, along with a tripod, some camcorders, and some solo masturbation cream. Yeah. Yep. That's cool. We should allow all of that all the time. That would make for a wonderful world.
Well, everyone's ultimate goal is to bring Maddie home.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
Thunder, True Crime Audio.
Well, dang, thank you. That is a super high compliment over here because I just love Plunder. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you. It's very flattering. Thank you. Well, We'll take a little flattery among all of the dry heaving and gagging and repulsion I'm experiencing over here. This just, I was kind of saying earlier, like, come on, Florida man, you deserve the whole world a freaking break from the, like, just like, I don't know, if nothing else, the disgustingness this Stefan Stearns has exposed the whole world to. Most importantly, the way he exposed Maddie, of course, but that is why we're all involved. Come on, come on, come on, get moving. Hut 234, Hut 234, before Christmas, charges.
So the cops again are asking Jennifer, why didn't you go out to search? Is there any other reason you didn't go out to search? And it's her odd way of phrasing things that Jennifer says here, her odd way of phrasing things. I didn't want the house to be alone. Jennifer goes into the last few days, the media have been bombarding them as more news has come to light. I've been truly overwhelmed with the attention, she says. So she doesn't say, I've been overwhelmed with Stefan's arrest happening and his abuse charges coming out. And how dare he? No, she says she felt like she needed to preserve her mental health. And so those are her reasons for not going out to search for her daughter. Of course, I know mental health is important. We don't want to lose it. We don't want to go insane. Of course, I can't imagine the pain. I never want to imagine the pain of losing a child. And God bless you guys. Some of you all have.
Jen, bring it. Me and your mental health issues in the ring right now. I'm going to knock you out in like 5 and let's get over it and move on with life and talk and think about something else. I understand too, as Paula is saying here and as we've talked about on this channel before, mental health is so important. The end of every live stream, I remind you guys all to take good care of yourself. I have to remind myself all the time because it is so important. We all deserve it. And I do not feel like I'm missing a beat on that. I just had such great awareness of that and worked in that field, dealt with issues myself, virtually my entire life, something. But, this, what Jenn Soto is, and I know sometimes even in this chat, I think there's some people that are a little like, well, you're me. I'm talking about myself or the channel or we as some sort of more than me people are not, giving enough like compassion to Jen's mental health issues I just really want to be clear. I really do not feel that that's where I'm coming from because I, expressed my, suspicions of her and amazement at her words and actions and lack of actions and complacency. But it wasn't until like I really had a wide, vast, ranging sample over time and settings of her behavior that I was like, okay, you know what, man, I've seen enough. You've all seen enough because I've seen enough. This is something different. This is clearly something different. And I just believe that that's what ultimately is going to be found when Jenn is charged, prosecuted, and appropriately punished. Although there is no punishment that could be equitable to what was lost, we're going to do our best in this moral world. And Paula's helping too, baby. We got Paula and Kylie and all of you guys.
Commented on the children you have lost. I mean, my heart just goes out to you. I don't want to, of course, experience that pain. Some people have to be literally sedated. They are so upset. So that's why I'm still holding out so much, trying to give Jennifer the benefit of the doubt without taking away from Maddie's pain. That's the delicate balance here. So many people are angry at Jennifer for not protecting her daughter because they've experienced mothers, narcissistic mothers, abusive mothers, or just neglectful mothers who did not protect them. So I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And I still have a heart for Jennifer in terms of if she really was assaulted, like she mentioned in the previous video, she went out on a date with this man who would have been her boss, but she didn't take the job and he's all like at a car dealership and he's like, oh good, because I can't date my employees. And they go out on a date. She's like, It must be the first time someone's asked her out in person. Obviously, she must have been flattered by the attention and go out, and this guy gets all drunk and allegedly assaults her. I don't know what happened there. Was it reported, or, did she not tell anyone? It's common for people to not tell anyone. I understand. But at the same token, when did this happen? Was it before she became a mom? And if she knows the pain and the PTSD she had from that experience, wouldn't she even be more hypervigilant about trying to prevent that from happening to her daughter? I know we can't be eyes all everywhere, and we can't know, we're not omniscient, we're not God, we don't know everything that's going on. But wouldn't she be more vigilant about what's happening with her daughter? And on that same note, as they talk about here, is that rain? Yeah, it must have started raining, of course, Florida. Monsoon season, seemingly all the time. I just have to interject. Some people find it so weird that Jennifer was tracking Maddie's period. As a mom, I don't find it weird at all. I do not find it weird at all for a mother to track her young daughter's period, especially a 12 or 13-year-old. You better know what's going on in your own household. Now, the reasons why Jennifer may have been tracking it, that's a whole nother ballgame. But you have to know what's going on in your own household in terms of, okay, is she just missing a period? Is she just late on her period? Is it just being irregular? Is there something I need to take her to the doctor for? Am I about to become a grandmother? These are the things you have to know. That's why I don't find it weird, for a person to track their own cycle using an app. We didn't have apps back then. We call it grief appropriation. I'm leaving in so you can get the whole gist of it.
Guys would use to help.
For who?
For you.
For me? It's my medication called the brand name is called Geodon.
Geodon?
Yeah, it's but the bottle says Ziprazidone. I can't say it right. Ziprazidone.
Ziprazidone?
Yeah, that's a bipolar medication. It kicks in at night with the food, and then probably takes about an hour, 30 minutes, an hour to work, and then I'm asleep.
Okay. Can you write that down just so I don't forget it?
What was it again?
Can you tell me what the medication was?
The brand name is Geodon.
Geodon, okay.
Geodon, and then it was. What was it started with a Z?
The generic name is what would say on my medication bottles is Ziprazidone.
Ziprazidone, yeah.
Ziprazidone.
And then what was the medication that Maddie would take?
Hydroxyzine.
Okay. And that was used for what purpose? To help her sleep?
To help her sleep or for anxiety. But that's like, I think that's like a version of Benadryl that we would give her. At least it's how her doctor described it. It's like giving her Benadryl at night.
Okay.
Now, Detective Smallwood is asking Jennifer.
You know what? That's funny, Claudia. I want to read this. Or I'm sorry, Calissa. I'm so sorry. There was just another Claudia here, I promise, but I recognize you. How are you doing, sweetheart? Says there is a theory that the true reason Jenn was in the psych hospital was because she was detoxing off of her Xanax. That is funny. We broached this topic, I think, like quite a while ago. The first live stream we did about this case, I think, and I was talking about how when I was prescribed, it wasn't Xanax, but it was basically same chemical compound, but a really low dosage. It was like Klonopin. Yeah, is that what it is? Or clonazepam? One of those ones. And a few other people that were here had been prescribed varying doses. And even being on a low dose and taking it for a short time, I was prescribed after I was diagnosed with postpartum depression and, just wanted to kind of get over that hump and then love my baby and love my life. And so I really thought I was going to die. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get off of this. There is absolutely no way. And, I ultimately had to go to my friend's vacation house, get away from the whole real world, no responsibilities, And, if so we had touched on this a little bit. Interesting you should say that. And ever since we kind of had that, hey, yeah, maybe that's exactly what I figured happened, because I see zero. Now, listen, one of the indicators of, being whirled towards a mental crisis or nervous breakdown, or you can call it whatever you want, we know we're talking about, can be, well, either like disconnect or disconnect, which that could be Jenn Soto here, just not even really talking about the fact that Maddie is missing, or delusionism, not realizing that Maddie's missing. And I don't know what the hell would be with her. The point is, there were no indicators that matched the evidence-based, tried and true, data backed and proven with some great pie charts indicators of somebody who is like going into that state of crisis, whether it is happening over time or nearly instantaneously. Now, being fair, I couldn't speak on instantaneously, because if she did have an instantaneous break, I wasn't there for it. I probably took my meds and then I needed to get my sleep, so I wasn't there for it, her nervous break. But still, that's so rare without having at least a certain number of very clear indicators happening over a range of time and across settings and situations for some period before that was, really quick break. Okay, I'm just going to keep playing this. I feel like I'm talking too much. Because I probably am.
What medication she uses to help her sleep. Jennifer's like,
County correction.
The
focused, making herself the victim. And it's like she's trying to convince.
She says what was said. So I just want you guys to hear the interview. And also, Jiffy work kind of early tomorrow. So
Convince the cops. Oh my goodness, I can't even drive. Instead of your daughter.
Took us downtown, separated us.
And like see how a person reacts, what they bring.
I have to share this because I just said I have to be at work a little early tomorrow. And I was just thinking, because my teenagers, I work with, I have a really large number of teenagers who are under who I have to care for in a certain way, behavioral, emotional health wise, right? And before it breaks, like this one, it's going to be like 2 weeks for them. I'm a little anxious for all of them. I'm a little worried for all of them. Some of them I'm not. I'm like, they're going to be okay. They got it going on, or they got a great family, or maybe they don't have a family, but they've got some great friends, or, or whatever. They just got a new job they're really excited about. But some of them I am really freaking worried about. So when I just said I've got to be in work early tomorrow, there's a group of girls that I'm doing like a special breakfast with, and I got them all little gifts and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I really have to make sure like I'm like bright as a daisy for that, because, it's so important that they get the best of me during that time, because they don't get the best of anybody in their life. Nobody gives that to them, and they deserve it. And I just had this moment of caring so much and worrying so much. It's not to give me any kind of credit. That's to say, this is in stark contrast to Jenn Soto not showing any, out of the range of normal sense of urgency or worry or anxiety about her only child, like being missing of this earth most likely. It's just something I had to verbalize, guys. That's all.
Bring up.
Stefan reached out to Stefan?
No. I haven't seen him or talked to him since you guys took us downtown and separated us. I haven't heard anything. something stupid if he did.
He knows your number though, probably by heart.
Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know. If you were to call, what would it say? Orange County Jail? Because I'm not going to pick that up.
It would either say Orange County or Osceola County Correction, something to that effect.
Yeah, no.
You wouldn't answer it?
No. I'm pretty much not picking up phone calls from my phone anyway because it's either reporters or I've had a lot of scam calls, people screaming in the background going, help me, and hanging up. But that's not Maddie's voice.
Has Stefan reached out to you? I love the way when someone spells it like, baby deer, Stefan. She quickly corrects his pronunciation. She's done that before. Jennifer has done that before. Stefan, almost like, get his name right. No, I tell you, it is annoying to me. Like when we listen to the roommate's audio, the way one cop kept calling him Steven, and that is annoying and confusing, especially since Jennifer's ex-husband's name is Steve.
I get what she's saying here, but all I say about that is I do not give a rat's ass when anyone calls that scumbucket of the earth, dredges of the Satan soul, whatever. Call him Steven, Stefan, one fucked up motherfucker. Like, I love Paula Mooney so much. She keeps like making a thing about his name. I'm like, girlfriend, who cares? We do know who we're talking about ultimately because there is only one capital offender pedophile in the room. And we all know who that is. But I love her. So, I just don't care. I don't care what anyone calls him.
Steven. I don't like it when people call Stefan Steven because that's totally wrong, just in knowing who they're talking about. But Jennifer is more like, almost like she's saying, don't call him Stefan. His name is pronounced Stefan. Jennifer says, no, I haven't seen him since you guys brought us down here and separated us. Like, you guys separated us. Do you think he'll reach out to you? I don't think so, she says. There's road bumps and noise and everything. Jennifer was asked if Stefan has attempted to reach out to her since he was arrested, and she's becoming upset. And she's like, no, and it would be really effing stupid if he did. So she's trying to maybe manufacture some hate and ire against him. Is she just angry at him for really what he did? Angry at him?
She's just because it's birthday. Oh, like it's her birthday. It's the only thing she got upset about, like at all. Oh shoot, I lost my place. Paula, come back. It's her birthday. And we don't give a fuck that it's her birthday.
Last night. He's into I think animal kink. That's something he's asked me a few times and that's not my thing. I refused.
Okay, here we go.
Moment in life and try and scam them or mislead them or pretend they had their child. I don't like it when people call Stefan Steven because that's totally.
We'll listen to Paula perseverate on Stefan. Who cares what he's called name because she's just so wonderful in every other way. And even this way.
wrong just in knowing who they're talking about. But Jennifer is more like, almost like she's saying, don't call him Stefan. His name is pronounced Stefan. Jennifer says, no, I haven't seen him since you guys brought us down here and separated us. You know, like, you guys separated us. Do you think he'll reach out to you? I don't think so, she says. There's road bumps and noise and everything. Jennifer was asked if Stefan has attempted to reach out to her since he was arrested, and she's becoming upset, and she's like, no, and it would be really effing stupid if he did. So she's trying to maybe manufacture some hate and ire against him. Is she just angry at him for really what he did? Angry at him for getting caught and being so stupid as to not delete his Google Drive photos of Madeline's folder? What's she really angry about? The cop says he knows your number though by heart, right? Jennifer says, I'm not so sure. I don't. And trails off. If he were to call, she says, would it say Orange County Jail? Because I'm not going to pick that up. Another way to me of like trying to glean information. The detective says it would either say Orange County or Osceola County, something to that effect. But you wouldn't answer it? No. She says, I'm pretty much not picking up phone calls from people much anyway, because it's either reporters or a lot of scam calls with people in the background going, help me, and hanging up, but it's not Maddie's voice. Can I tell you, those are the worst scum of the earth. People who would dare to call any parent of a missing child and pretend. A lot of them have gotten scammed, like, oh, here it is, help, I have your daughter here, send money. And those are the worst scammers in life. For someone to approach a person at the worst moment in life and try and scam them or mislead them or pretend they had their child, scum of the earth, let me tell you. Lord, let them turn around. But still, I believe the mother of a missing child should pick up the phone. So why doesn't she want to talk to reporters anymore? Why not generally get the word out still far and wide, because Maddie is still missing? Why not say, help me, reporters, help me. I had no idea what this man was doing to my daughter.
Okay, I mean, listen, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that this is the one, probably the most major, like, flashing red lights and brown bikini sign that Jenn Soto knew that Maddie was dead, is that she is saying she's not really answering the phone. Case closed, dude. She knew. There's no way she didn't. There's no parent on this earth whose child is missing and might be dead, in danger, being assaulted, trafficked, R-worded, stabbed, whatever, all the bad things YouTube won't let me say, who is not going to pick up that phone every fucking time it rings. It goes against, like, literally the genetic programming in human beings and the however many billions or thousands or millions of years, whatever you believe in, God or dinosaurs, evolution or whatever you believe in. It's going to be a different range of time, but it's a whole lot of time of adaptive evolution that causes human beings to not be able to literally not be able to pay attention to anything but the presence and sustaining of life of their own flesh and blood, their own child, if they believe that child is unwell or that they cannot protect them at that time. That is a fact. In fact, it's very much linked to the entire basis of why behavioral therapy is so effective, and we know how to do it so well. Not that I know how to do it so well, the humans know how to do it so well because of all that studying that we have done of human behavior. And guess what? I'd just like to dedicate this next 30 seconds to the Shiners and friends. A lot of those conclusions, those meaningful and helpful conclusions and, community understandings and, collaborative work that allows us to continue to evolve as a species and live mentally, emotionally, and physically happier and healthier lives, although that does not look like the trend as far as adaptive evolution goes. It still is a trend. We are on top, is because we look to relationships between other human beings and we learn from them. And the more impression making on our own mind, what we are observing in other human beings is to us, like, murder, Chris Watts or whatever. The longer lasting and sustaining that lesson in our own lives and in the life of adaptive evolution of our species. That went a little astray. I will admit it. Let's all gather back around the pool table and let Paula break the balls. I don't even know what it's called. I'm starting to say things I'm not even familiar with. I think I need to go to sleep soon. We're going to finish this interview. Recording.
You
Or
guys
maybe it was an interview. Whatever it is.
keep reporting Maddie's still missing. If anyone has tips, if anyone has, why not take that vein, that route? There's a very long moment of silence.
I did remember something from our conversation last night, if I could mention it to you guys.
Absolutely.
You guys asked me about kinks.
What?
Like sexual kinks.
Yep.
And something occurred to me last night.
Okay.
He's into, like, I think animal kink. That's something he's asked me a few times, and that's not my thing. I've refused. But I remember he told me he was always into butts. So
Wonder, true crime
butt stuff.
audio.
I don't know. I mean, it's like Jenn Soto so vanilla that she thinks being into butts is like a kink. I don't know. Maybe I'm just such a freak. I just think that's being into butts. I don't know. I'm thinking more like, or is it that she knows what a disgusting, pathological, like enemy of, all gods of protection and beauty and love for children, that he is the Antichrist. And so she's kind of like playing it off in that way. Because I just think that's just, I don't know. I find this to be a weird thing to say. I think the investigators were like, what? Huh? I don't know. She's just, Jenn, you're a terrible actress and you're a terrible mother. And I hope that you pay for what you did to Maddie because she didn't deserve it. She deserved so much better. And not that I would have thought you deserved any worse if I just met you on the street. But unfortunately, here we are in this context. And girl, you fucked up royally. And there aren't even words that convey how we all feel about that. I hope you figure out how to repent for your sins and that Maddie forgives you because she might not, and we would all understand. And there you go with Stefan and Satan, or Stefan and Satan, or Steven and Satan, or whatever the fuck his name is in Satan, and you. So you better think wisely, girl. Get off your meds. Get off your meds. See how it goes. Might be fine. You might be able to, think about something. No, I don't know if she should. I'm just joking about that. I'm no official of her mental health, and maybe she truly does need to be on med. So I'm just joking about that. But I'm just so mad at Jenn Soto. Florida, please end our angst. Bring the charges before Christmas.
But you guys never had anal sex?
No.
Did he ever tell you he had anal sex with anybody else?
Not that I can recall.
Now, the last thing she's talked about is Maddie's voice. People say scammers are like, help me, but it's not Maddie's voice. Maddie's voice, that's the last thing she's mentioned. After this very long moment of silence, she goes, then I did remember something from our conversation last night. He's into like kinks. They're like, what? She's like sexual kinks, anal kinks. That's not my thing. So to me, it was an odd transition. The last thing she mentioned was Maddie's voice, very long pause. And then the first thing she remembers again is Stefan's anal kinks. She goes, he told me he was always into butts. Butt stuff. She remembered this, after their last conversation. She always said no. The cop is like, but you guys never had anal sex? No. So I'd love to see that train of thought in her mind, the movie in her mind's eye, the true crime movie, what's going on up there. Did he ever tell you that he had anal sex with anyone else? Not that I can recall, she says.
I feel like she's probably like, yo, investigator, if you can't tell that my ass stinks, then maybe you should be doing something else. Let someone else investigate this case because you're not picking up on the obvious. Freaking rotten potato. Smelly.
So remember, she did admit that Stefan told her he was having sex with that coworker. But did he really not go as far as saying, what kind of sex he had with her? I don't know what kind he did. We only have the description we have, but.
Also, You asked me in the interview room about his triggers. I think trigger was like the wrong word to use because I couldn't think of triggers, but he does have a temper. Okay. He's very irritable and very negative about the world and things. Driving would piss him off. Like, depending on how people were driving around him, he'd get really irritable with that.
You don't know, man. If things like just sitting down at breakfast and there's like a banana and orange there and getting in the car and driving makes someone that agitated, let's just all take time to make sure we solidify this lesson within ourselves at least, because we all deserve better. Maybe that person fucking sucks. Leave. Let them hitchhike home or whatever, because like, oh, they were going to do bad things in your life anyway, so just make them go away.
Nagging him would make him really...
Certainly don't tell your 10, 11, 12, just turned 13-year-old daughter to go up in a bedroom and sleep with them behind closed doors in a single bed with a tripod and cameras and Solo lotion and a freaking like steel lock on the inside of the door. My God. Right? When we put it like that and everything else we know and have talked about today, including the new people that gave us their strong information fed opinion, it's like, duh, obviously on Christmas morning, if not sooner, there's gonna be a box of fucking charges for Jenn Soto. I don't even care if they got a bow or not, just make sure they're there.
Irritable, like if I asked him to clean the house or help me with something, but would he lash out and explode with me? No. But I believe he's done that with his parents.
Has he ever done it with Maddie?
Lashed out in front of us like that?
Or to her?
To her? No, I don't think so, no.
Has he ever got irritated or angry with her?
I would say yes, but like typical parenting stuff, like if she didn't clean her room when she was supposed to, like, you know, coming down on her for something like that. Was it like anger out of the blue or anger, like random anger? No. It was always like Maddie wasn't doing what she was supposed to be doing kind of thing, so we come down.
And when you say come down on her, obviously, do you mean discipline?
Yell at her. Okay. Yeah, we would never hit her. We were never physical with her. Okay. We would just be like, you're supposed to be doing this, you're not doing this.
We would just shove his disgusting, like some of you gave the good scriptures, junk in her mouth, but we wouldn't get physical with her or anything, not like that. We'd never do that. Just junk in the mouth and stuff like that. That's all we do. Yeah, I knew all about it. It was fine. I need to take my meds, get a good night's sleep, get some Botox the next day. Had 2 days off work. You know, should make sense to America and the world beyond America. Hello, all my friends in Australia and elsewhere. Yeah. Oh my God, I cannot even. Chick Tracy, thank you so much for gifting 5 Watts the Obsession True Crime memberships. I really appreciate you, and it's great to see you. Just thank you so much. And if you got gifted a membership, please say thanks to Chick Tracy. And definitely not Jenn Soto.
What's going on? Are you spacing out? Are you being lazy? Get on it.
Plunder, True Crime Audio. And then she says, also, you asked me in the interview room about his triggers. So I want to see those interview room videos really badly. Jennifer goes on to correct the cop's questioning. I think triggers was the wrong word to use because I couldn't think of any, But she's like, okay, I do remember his anger. He does have a temper. Jennifer also remembered Stefan would get easily angered. He's very irritable, negative about the world. You could see that on him. You could just see it in his eyes. Driving would piss him off. Depending on how people were driving around him, he would get really irritable with that. Me nagging him would make him really irritable. Like if I would ask him to help me or clean up something around the house. How annoying. This man, all he can bring to the table, this man, was his daddy's money. Is that why Jennifer kept him around? Because Stefan could come up with, through his dad, $600? Ugh, what's the point? Jennifer says, would he lash out and explode at me? No, but I believe he's done that with his parents. His poor parents. I hope we get more interviews with them. Has he ever done it with Maddie? The detective is asking directly. And of course, Jennifer pretends like she misunderstands this question. She says, has he ever lashed out like that in front of us? No. And she's like, I don't think so. The detective is clearing it up. Has he ever got angry or irritated with Maddie directly? Like he's saying, has he ever gone off on her directly? Jennifer takes a long pause before claiming, I would say yes, but it's like typical parenting stuff. Again, he's not her parent. And even blended families, like they encourage and advise people, like, a woman like Jennifer has a daughter like Maddie. If she had gone on and married Stefan, he still should not have been the disciplinarian. The bio parent should still discipline their children. It takes a long time to build that trust and eventually, earn that honor of parent. Stefan is no parent. So Jennifer said Stefan would only get angry at Maddie over normal parenting things, if she didn't do what she was supposed to, like clean her room or something like that. Was it random anger or anger out of the blue? Jennifer says no. So what was it that ended Maddie's life?
No, it was just the junk in the mouth every time. Not physical, nothing bad or anything, just the junk in the mouth and other horrific, unspeakable, God-forsaken things that no child or human being should ever have to experience because and she knew. Is there any? No, I should put a poll up or something like that. I don't know. If you care to just write a little ditty or so, but not a P ditty, but like a yes or a no, or expand for a few sentences if you'd like in chat. Do you believe that Jenn Soto knew? We're not going to talk about the degree to which Maddie was being sexually assaulted. YouTube, I said it. If you guys don't see me tomorrow, talk to Kez or Jody and I'm just kidding. It's in the end of the video. But seriously, we need to grow up on that. It's starting to really bother me about the platform. Like I'm listening to all these creators and like these very serious, like respected, like well-trained professionals who, I feel like honored to have their time and their insight and, and they have to use like, they sound like little kids or like they're at a conference with little kids trying to use code words. The channel is for people age 18 and over. There should not be any children in his house. And if there are, I don't know what to tell you. Like maybe that's a parenting supervision issue, or maybe their parent knows that they can handle it. They're watching for a reason that feels appropriate. But for YouTube to not let us say like murder, or rape is in like the kind of world we live in. When, by the way, there's this whole genre called true crime. I don't know if y'all heard of it. I want to be like really strong and be like, I feel so strongly about that. I'm done with. No, I'm afraid to even say it because I want them to really revolt against me. But there's no alternative, you know? So you can't do that. You just have to take it. Never mind what I was going to say next because that could really be problematic. All right, back to Paula. She's just really more like, centered and put together today. I think I prefer her. Let's see what she has to say.
Was it anger not out of the blue? Was it anger? I still keep wondering if there was some fear of pregnancy or exposure. I can't get that out of my mind. But Jennifer's like, it was only if Maddie wasn't doing what she was supposed to be doing. When you say come down on her, do you mean discipline? Jennifer says yell, like, yeah, yell. We would never hit her. We were never physical with her. Using the past tense there. She's not like, oh no, we don't punish her.
But we would invade and assault her body and take away her innocence, childhood, happiness, and soul. Remember how her biological dad spoke about the last time he saw her as him having concern. And I felt like the way he was telling that this was concern he had in the moment upon seeing her, not in retrospect, but that she had that, 1,000-mile stare and just looks like, she's so young. And last time he saw her, she was just a child, but now the weight of the world is on her shoulders. Yeah. Never physical abuse or anything like that. No. We just took everything from her and I allowed that scummy, pickled piece of slimy, rotten potato to take advantage of her in every way possible. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't do the anal, but because they were, and that's cool. I just took my meds and got my sleep, got my Botox. Hope it was worth it, Jen. Hope it was worth it. Obviously, it wasn't. That is sarcastic, but you know that. I really wish I could just slap a bitch right now. Come here, Jenn Soto.
We don't hit her. We are not physical with her. That's not how we discipline Maddie. No, she slipped into the past tense. We would never hit her. We were never physical with her. First of all, that's in the past tense, and it's obviously a lie because somebody got physical with Maddie to break her hyoid bone and end her life. She goes, we would just be like, and you hear bam, 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 something she's like doing, like we were just like, as if Jennifer's banging.
And take her virginity. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Banging something or clapping her hands or whatever. She's explaining, you're not doing this. You're not doing that, whatever's going on. Are you spacing out? Are you being lazy? Get on it. How dare Jennifer criticize her daughter and ask her, are you spacing out? Are you being lazy? Don't let me start. Yeah. Jennifer exhales. There's another long pause. If only we could see again that true crime movie playing in her mind, what she really knows.
What electronics were you referring to when you first asked this?
Oh.
About the ones.
My Apple laptop.
Your Apple one?
Yeah. Oh, actually, there's an Apple laptop, but what I really wanted was, there was a black, old laptop in my closet that has all of Maddie's baby pictures from when she was born up until until I got the Apple. So I want to say like 10 years worth of pictures uploaded into it, and I just wanted to make sure I got them.
And then we go right from
that would happen that day.
Baby pictures of Maddie right to the 4 to 5 years of sexual assault at the hands of that crazy scumbucket over there. Look at, and you know what, investigator? I'm Jenn Soto speaking, obviously, and that was all my doing, and I'm proud of that. And I think I now need to go take my meds and deserve a good night's rest. I mean, the moral of the story is just, it's like a freaking Hunter S. Thompson novel. It's just, okay, Christmas presents for us. Yeah. Charges. Lots of them. Name Jennifer Soto. She's really Jennifer Soto, right? Yeah. Jennifer Soto written on them. See, now I'm all excited about the prospect of, like, really excited about, oh, like, there really are charges coming. I'm not just, like, fascinated, or I'm fantasizing about that. Shit. I hope I didn't let a big, like, false cat out of it. Well, I mean, this is what I was told. This is what they think. They have reason to think that. So there it is. Maybe I'll put a little more pressure on Florida ultimately, if need be. But hopefully Kylie is right and Florida wouldn't not charge these heinous crimes and indiscretions of Jenn Soto.
Okay. I have to say thank you to everyone who's participated in that poll that I threw.
Or sees whoever the victim is.
I'm sure you guys all heard the audio here when Stefan Sturm just like, I had to sleep on a hard, cold floor for 2 nights in a row. No blanket, no nothing, no pillow, no nothing. Just the toilet paper under my slimy head. Look at all the different ranges of species of shit living in my scallop. Oh, he's such a greaseball. Seriously, though. The only reason I'm like keep saying this is not just like to be like superficial or anything like that. I don't usually care about the state of people's hair and scalp. I don't even think I usually notice. I mean, unless they're like right in front of me and it smells like then I get it. Or if there's stuff like really shining off of it and it's not like that healthy oil, you just can't see it. But just because I just know how disgusting he is and all these things. I know we all know how disgusting that all is in real life when you're using all of your God-given senses for all of the wrong reasons to smell, see, hear, blah, whatever him. And I every time I just see the most disgusting aspect of him, like my head just gets stuck on like, Maddie had to be so close to that for such long periods of time, for so long, for so much of her life as a child. And to not be able to clearly see how wrong that was, even from a visual standpoint, literally, I just wish that the frickin' like you are not allowed to have a child under your care police were around, because like that's when they were really, truly, truly, truly needed. Because this is just so obvious. Anybody, I'm sure, who works in any kind of field, or God forbid, I know some of you have had to endure assault yourself, or a loved one has, or you own, whatever the case may be, that put you in like a real life, way closer horror story like proximity to that than anyone should ever have to be or wants to be. Like, it's just like, don't you find yourself like sometimes just having to, almost put yourself in the position of what Maddie's experience was like? And every time I do it, I'm like, woohoo, you already changed that channel real quick. And then like, I'm like, no. It's like, unpleasant as this is about to be, like, that's part of the being able to tell Maddie's story, or, even like appropriately ask or seek for justice for her, is to, like abandon your desire to not, feel the way that Stefan Stern makes people feel for a moment, to think about how it made Maddie feel. Such a sweet, innocent child who was scared and confused and just wanted to be loved and didn't, at least in the last few years of her life, and I know there were people in her life that loved her, and there were people in her life that did good things, and I do not want to take away from that. There absolutely was that, but her day-to-day life was very clearly, I mean, and people have told this in their different ways through their different stories, and we've all come together and talked about it, and we, add into the equation our own experience and the ways we relate or don't relate, or oh my gosh, the way she was living is my greatest fear, whatever the case may be. She lived this part of her life, her childhood, where she should have been so delightful and happy, being unseen, unheard, hidden away, unregarded, unuseful, like disposable, I don't know, interchangeable, swapped for your meds and a good night sleepable, even if she is about to have a real live nightmare for the next 8 hours of experiencing something no child should ever have to experience. And you, Jenn Soto, there is no question about it. It is because of what you did, what you did not do, but let's not parse semantics here. Your ignorance, your selfishness, your negligence, and your lack of ability to not be a fucking piece of shit for short periods of time every now and then caused Maddie's fate to be what it was. She did not deserve that, and she certainly did not deserve you as her mother. And Florida, if there is a God, if there is a Santa Claus, and there's not, so never mind. Florida, unless you would like to be kicked out of the United States Club, there can be 49 of us and we'll be fine. Charges by Christmas morning. However you want to deliver, we will be here to accept, because we don't care if the house is alone. That's fine with us, right? Yeah, that's cool. Oh my God. I don't know. But we're going to be talking about this case Saturday night because, and I actually, Kylie, this was a great recording to listen to. There's the one that I was thinking about initially was the one when they're on their way to, is that the one you were thinking about? I don't know. They were on their way to the blue couch room, right? Because this is after the blue couch room happened, right? And Stefan, she had not been arrested yet because they were just being separated. They were just being put into separate cars, saying they were going to the press conference. And there's a few interesting things in that too that link up with this and everything else. But there's like a freaking lot to talk about. Let's just schedule some live streams for the next 45 to 55 days. And then, no, never mind. No, just till Christmas, because then we can take a break after Jenn gets her nice little packed presents filled with charges and maggots and rat's tails. And what did someone say? Slimy little pickle dicks. Someone said that chat earlier. You guys crack me up. Oh my God. And doughy white flesh. That hasn't been washed in a long time. It smells bad. I just can't even believe that. I cannot believe that Maddie was able to endure all of that for so long, and that she was groomed to the extent that she was her sense of self-worth and what she deserved in her own life was so malnourished or beaten down or gaslit and manipulated because of what I believe is, well, obviously Stefan Soto's, whatever all that is, the things we can't say on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. And And also, I think, Jenn Soto's, just inability to be anywhere other than up her own stinky ass, and, her just lack of care for her daughter, and selfishness and jealousy of her. For those horrible, horrible, reasons that have no good that could come from them, or no good at their root. Maddie had to endure all of that suffering for so long, and it was such horrible suffering. And for her to be able to endure that, she is at least we know she had God, or, something miraculous with her, or else she would not have been able to, because I don't know if any human could. Any human as beautiful as could. They would just melt under the ugliness and repulsivity. But for no one to know, particularly the one who is charged with caring for her, keeping her safe, and, just, being a mom, there's no way. There's no way. There is no way. So let's see. I have contacts in right now saying they're really blurry. I need to pop them out and put my glasses on. So I'm just taking a moment so I can even read your name correctly. It's not you, it's me in my eyes. So Rose, welcome. My first time to this channel. Oh, you picked a fine night. No, but I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I've been interested in the Madeline Soto case because I feel like justice has not been served. Oh, girl, join the club and you are in a good place. I don't know if you were here towards the beginning, but I was saying that I connected with, well, I didn't reach out and connect with them. These people actually came to me, and I mean, maybe they're going to go to other places, especially as there's attorneys, one lead attorney, and I believe it is a firm. I don't know how many are working with the family, who are retained to represent some people who have legal standing in a case, let's say hypothetically a civil case, where the loss would be the loss of the life of Madeline Soto, and they have reason to believe, and they indicated to me towards what that reason is, but I'm not going to say anything more than that, because I think the understanding was we weren't going to, but I think we're going to find out pretty quick. So this is just a little, I don't know. And if I'm wrong, I do apologize, but if I'm wrong, I'm going to have to shake somebody up too, because I'm all excited now for Christmas morning and our presents, the charges. But they have reason to believe they're going to be bringing charges of their own, since they have standing. As of now, it's of a civil nature. It could progress to a criminal, but that is going to really, I think this is what they're trying to figure out right now. But my understanding where their thought is now is, first it would have to come from the public prosecutors. They'd have to make their move. And then if they made their move and did the right thing and charged Jenn Soto correctly on the behalf of the state of Florida, and its citizens, and, well, Maddie, then the interested party withstanding that they're representing could elevate their case to extend it to a possible criminal as well as civil. And I don't really understand how that works. We haven't talked about it at length, but justice has certainly not been served. And even if Stefan Stern gets, if he is convicted to the hilt, and each conviction, each charge is convicted and sentenced and punished to the fullest extent of the law, and even further, because he's an extra special kind of evil, and Maddie was an extra special kind of special, justice will not be served if Jenn Soto is not held accountable for her part in this horrible tragedy and unacceptable crime. I mean, to say that kind of almost made me laugh, because unacceptable is not a strong enough word, but fortunately, hopefully, the English and other languages don't necessarily offer words that are going to completely embody the horribleness of this case, because we don't want to, I don't know. We don't need to like preserve that. It's just one of the grossest things ever. Blah, 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 blah. I've seen people comment before my channel like, yeah, I just really like to just listen to yourself talk. And I'm like, I do not. Actually, I was really tired of talking. I didn't want to talk. While other people talk, I don't want to talk. A bunch of other stuff going on. I wasn't talking. But, if somebody were to comment that in this video, I would understand why. But it's just because I don't know why. I think I'm getting tired, guys. Does anyone want to come up? I've said that about 2 hours ago. Does anyone want to come up on panel briefly to, maybe state things a little more eloquently than I just did in closing, or just share your opinions or your thoughts or anything on this case? Like, oh, well, I heard this. Like, I think this should happen. Tomorrow night. No, I'm sorry. It's not going to be tomorrow night. I need a night off tomorrow night. I totally need a night off tomorrow night. Friday night, we're going to be discussing the JonBenet Ramsey case. And on Friday night, because we're going to go pretty deep into the entire, kind of history of the meandering of the investigation. I have some really, really interesting stuff for you that I haven't seen out there. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but hopefully you guys will really enjoy it. We're going to just take a look at the Ramsey family and the suspicion that surrounded them, why it existed, the evidence and that existed, and the mistakes that were made or may have been made that caused people to turn a suspicious eye to them. And still to this day, some people believe they were involved. At one point, I thought they were. I'm just going to tell you my stance up front on it. I was wondering if I should or not, but and I understand why people think that they could be involved, one or all of them. There's good reasons for it. But just the way that I've gone in my own thinking, I no longer, and I haven't for a long time, I do not think that any of the Ramseys were involved. I think it was an outsider. And I myself, I'm not going to talk about this yet, because we'll talk about when we get to the theories on someone outside of the house committing the horrible crime against JonBenet. I think it's definitely one of 2 people. I don't think it's a totally unknown. And I do believe that investigative genetic genealogy is going to bring us to the finish line of this case within the next 4 years or so. Yeah, I think once the Brian Kohberger case is done, and I personally believe with what we know now, I'll change my mind if the evidence says that I should, but with what we know now, my prediction is he will be found guilty, that investigative genetic genealogy will be more fully embraced by the judicial system as being an exceptional investigatory tool to help law enforcement solve crimes that would otherwise be unsolvable and may have been committed by some MRFer who was not yet in CODIS. And really that is only one of the ways that, although sometimes does end up being illegal and dishonest, even by the part of law enforcement, and does infringe on our rights, it is one of the ways we can still catch the really, really bad guy and kind of make people think that we're not infringing on our rights. And I personally have decided that I feel like okay with that. Am I going to send my saliva to 23andMe anytime soon? Hell no. But, for everything we want, where a compromise must exist, we have to make a sacrifice in some kind of a trade. And for me, it just feels that's the one that feels comfortable. And I hope that happens. So that'll be Friday night. And then Saturday night, we're going to talk more about this case. And I never even gave you guys a link. Oh my God. For panel. And we're going to listen to some of that derivative immunity interview, so to speak, but not the whole thing. I already edited the interview so we can get through really quick. And then I picked out select other little interview segments and statements from other people and court documents. I kind of put it together to say, all right, look, here's the rest of the picture as I see it from a legal, and we're going to have legal people speaking to that perspective. And also a perspective from my professional perspective as a behavioral therapist and Jennifer's actions over a range of time, settings, and there's another thing I usually say, and I'm just too tired to remember it now, that her activities, actions, behaviors, and attempts to cover up were in fact criminal, not some kind of a mental or personality defect. And, I got pretty into it because I think I can make a strong case for that. And I think I did. So then we're going to talk about that because some of you guys might agree. You might think differently. You might have more pieces of the puzzle to add in there. So, yeah. It is not her father. I will tell you that. Yeah, because I did a little slip up right there. Right? You guys don't. Yeah. I just don't want to be, these people have been very nice. And well, I mean, everybody is serving, their purpose. They, want to make sure that people continue to understand that Jenn Soto has criminal exposure in this case. And man, she better get hers. And this ain't the end of the punishment train for these people for what they did to Maddie. And it's going to keep coming. Toot toot, coming down the rails right now, baby. Keep bringing them. And that's kind of like the energy I got from them. So, they want to be out there. I was telling, I told them to reach out to Jay, or maybe they already did. I don't know. They didn't say, but and a couple other people that I think be interested in talking to them as well. But it is not her dad. It is not her biological dad. But from what I understand, he has a similar situation to what I described with these attorneys, but it just so happens to not be who this is. Oh, I love the interview room. Kelly says, there's an interview. Oh, I thought you said an interview room. See, I'm starting to see things that aren't there now. That's a sign of being overly tired. All right. There's an interview with Chris Stearns when he went in July and talked to detectives. And there's one thing that I've held on to. The detective does acknowledge. Well, girl, don't stop there because I'm waiting for the rest of what you got to say. And we'll see what she says about that. I think it was John's friend. So sweet Melissa, how are you doing? Don't try to grow a brain, John. All right, there you go. I gotcha. Okay, John. Oh, you're talking about that case. See, that's why I could never talk about two cases in one live stream. I would just, I don't know. I mean, I think it might permanently change my trajectory in life because I would get so confused. There would be no coming back. I could not possibly do it. I do not know how people can handle that. I mean, creators can pull it off is what I mean. And then, did I get this? So Kaylee says the only scenario I could think of with the family. Okay, so now I got to see, I did it though. I did it. I made you do it. I made you confuse me. Good job, me. Is that self-defeating behavior or what? Oh, good. Well, you guys are talking about the Jean Bonnet case. So that's awesome because that's what's up next. Sub Rosa says Chris McDonough is too slow. I know what you mean, but I really love him, and I just he's just so he has no ego. He's very humble. He just tells it like it is. He's hardworking. He's yeah, I could screw that up, but I really know I'm doing this, and I usually feel how he puts it out there is how it proves to be, and I so much appreciate that. And the dog's real cute too. So Ketchick says, but it's not Patsy's handwriting. So I wonder why. Well, why do you say that? That's interesting because, and I don't know the full story about the handwriting information, but well, I can say this: there are conflicting specialists, and we're talking some of the most revered specialists in the field that don't agree. And how that can happen, I'm not really sure on, because I know in handwriting analysis, there's points, there's indicators, there's benchmarks. Like, I'm certainly no expert at it, but I am familiar with the methodology of how it's done for various reasons that having nothing to do with this channel, actually. And no crime I committed. No, I did not write the ransom. No, I truly did not. I was like at my prom or something when that crime happened. But there is one expert who worked, I think I think she's an FBI analyst now. I don't know. This crime happened a while ago. People's titles have changed over the years. But I do know, I read through her whole report as well as some others, and I thought, hers was just as convincing as everyone else's, I guess, because I don't know enough about it. Tell them this is more. But anyway, a lot of people look to her as well, and she identified 208 identifiers when comparing Patsy Ramsey's handwriting and the ransom note that were characteristic of Patsy Ramsey's handwriting. And then characteristic gets defined, and it's like not just a straight line, not just a horizontal line, not just a round circle, but a stripe, or it's a stroke with an individual, I can't remember what they call it, like a fingerprint essentially in your handwriting. It gets so minute. Sometimes I almost wonder if, although I do think there's definitely something scientific, and certainly, all the scientific method, measures of awesomeness, reliability, accuracy, replicability, all of that does exist in handwriting analysis. But sometimes to me, and it might just be that I don't get it, it gets broken down so minute that it's almost like, wait a minute, did we just break that down into minutia where it no longer has any meaning? Does that make sense? But anyway, that'll be something that we can discuss together, because I do know that the experts do not agree on that. I guess I'm just most familiar with that one analyst who does find those 208 common indicators, because that was a little compelling to me at first, but then I came to the conclusion of minutia. Jody says, was the expert her expert? The one that found that there was, oh yeah. Well, that is the thing, the Ramseys, I mean, they did have a lot of money, that's for sure. But they also did spend, I don't know, there are actual statistics on this. I don't care really enough about that to, I mean, if you guys really wanted it to, I'd crunch it for you, but to, spend my time and energy breaking down the details of what percent of their wealth at the time to these, blah, blah, blah. But it was a lot, and they did have the means to, I think, kind of like Jody's saying here, for every investigator that the state had, or that whoever had that was, looking into them and found them to be suspicious and let that be known, they could pay for an expert that could match the one that was, that's looking at them, matching their level of expertise, their level of education, the credentials of the school they went to, the whiteness of the bread, the richness of their scotch. They could do it all. Okay, you're saying that? Well, hey, look at our expert. Oh, he's got a Harvard, a Princeton, and a Yale. We win. And that kind of actually is sort of part of the minutia. After a while, with these experts that are conflicting or diametrally opposed to each other, but all very respected. And I mean, from my not as smart as them perspective, they all sound good, I guess. It makes sense. That kind of adds to the minutia for me. So the reason I ultimately myself determined that I truly do not believe it was a member of the Ramsey family. I simply do not think that they are horrible enough people to have done that. I do not see any reason, and I don't see anything about them that makes me believe that. Like, I don't love that, like, Patsy put her daughter in those pageants, but some say that JonBenet really loved it. It was a whole culture thing. And, I don't love that Shanann Watts had her girls on video trying to sell and thrive all the time. But, do I still have a lot of love for Shanann and that family? Yes, I do. Does it mean that I think Shanann killed the girls? Absolutely not. But that's just my perspective. Okay, ding, 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 ding. Time is up, my friends. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I hope that you can join us on Netflix. Oh, I just did actually finally watch the last part of that the other day on Netflix. Did they do it? Did they do did they dedicate oh my God, I can't talk. Episode to intruder theories, Kaz? Or did I miss one? Or was it all? I don't know. I'm sorry. Never mind. I'm not even making sense anymore. We'll talk about this another time. Is her last name Wong? I would not be able to remember if it was like Wong or Alexander or Sassafras right now. But I will look it up and I will come with an answer on Friday. Yeah. We might be talking about the same person. But for some reason, I know the one I'm talking about there, specifically 208 characteristics. So, I don't know. But maybe all minutia. Thank you, moderators, subscribers, members, OGs, people who are new to the channel. Thanks so much for being here and caring about justice for Maddie. Didn't read your comments, Jody. That's interesting. Yeah, I know. I just don't see. I don't know. I just think. I just feel like the Ramseys were. I think they were too smart to write a rambling, like 4-page ransom note when they know that every time you touch that paper, every time you make a letter stroke, there is more possible evidence it could be trace it back to you. I don't think they would be stupid enough to ask for $118,000, which was the exact amount of John's bonus. I don't think that they would think that was tricky enough to like reverse psychology on people. I do not think John Ramsey has any of the indicators of maybe that dude's not, but he could be your neighborhood, school, or family pedophile. I do not see that at all in him. I believe, the testimony of his adult daughter who is still alive, because his one daughter, Beth, who was older than JonBenet, died in a car accident about 6 months before JonBenet died. I mean, the things this man has been through, generally speaking. Now, don't anybody Epstein me, okay? Because I will counter. Generally speaking, pedophiles are that far on the outlying realm of the bell curve, the really messed up ones, which JonBenet's killer would have to be, are not people who are successful by any one measure of life traditionally, let alone like all of them, which John was. And, when I was thinking about that with myself, and because I put that in the video that I started to make about the Ramses, which it's not going to be a live stream, because I want to do that separately, because I put freaking a lot of heart and soul and time into that. I've been working on it for a really long time. But I was like, okay, so what are people going to come up with here is no, that's not right. Like, here's this example. The only one I could think of was Jeffrey Epstein, but he was a personality, and I think especially in combination with Ghislaine Maxwell, he was sort of like a pop man, myth, legend. He didn't deserve any of that. He's not Andy Warhol or anyone awesome or even decent. But he had a lot of money, and people wonder where it came from. And I think he is one of those freaks of nature that literally just popped into this world, and against everything that we want to believe is just and right in this universe, won the money lottery. And I just think that's what's up with him. Other than that, he was just a scoundrel trying to sniff out little girls to ruin their lives. Yuck. And people with actual success and accomplishments, even if they had other things on their record too, seek them out to leech off of them. And you know what I mean? I just think he was a gaslighting, low-level manipulator who just happened to get the jackpot financially. Love you too, Sherry. Thanks for being here, girl, for everything. Okay, Friday night. All right, let's all practice, everybody. Where are you going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern? Okay, let's be real. It'll probably be like 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Right here at What's the Obsession? Ramsey night. Woo! Okay, good job. You guys were really good at that. Okay, next. Saturday night. Okay. But we're just getting warmed up for our big Christmas morning presents, and you know what those are gonna be, right? Charges for Jenn Soto. So where are we gonna be Saturday night? Probably around 9 o'clock. Probably not 9:30, because this next Jenn Soto one, I've just already timed it out mentally. It's gonna have to be long to get through it, because I don't want to keep dragging this out, because I'm gonna have other things I'm gonna want to talk about relative to her, like the charges that we're gonna get for Christmas. I mean, that she's gonna get for Christmas, please. So that one will start at 9, and I also have to do something with my mom in the morning. So 9:30 here, Friday night, Ramsey, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. The continuation of everything evil in this universe, which is Stefan Stearns and Jenn Soto, but it has to be done. All right, love you guys. I'm delirious, and I just gotta go. So remember, life is hard, so be nice to each other, but especially be good to yourself, because you deserve it, especially after being here with me for this live stream, because I don't know. I just have this sense that some of you were just sent here as my emotional support. I love you guys. You're awesome. And also, if you do have any things you want to go over, not for the Ramsey one, because that's already chock full. It's not going to be as long, but I know exactly how we're going to lay that one out. But especially for the Jenn Soto one, like I love how Kylie suggested the transportation video today. I think that was really good. I know not a lot of people had heard that. I've been thinking about it, and I just hadn't pulled the trigger on that yet. If you do have any suggestions like that, just please email me at whatsobsession@gmail.com. People give me suggestions all the time, and I love them, and sometimes I utilize them. The most amazing thing you can do, the sweetest little present you can give me along with your email, unless it's charges for Jenn Soto, is a link of where I can find that. And then, as long as you're not like, what is this person talking about? Chances are we can go over in the live stream then. And even if I think that, maybe we would anyway, because I love you. And maybe I'm the one who just doesn't get the value of it. Who knows? So see you guys Friday night. And everyone, until then, take care. And by all means, please, please wash your hair. Okay, wash your hair. Wash your hair. If you need to take your meds, it's fine. If you need to go to sleep, that is fine too. We're all good with that. But take care of yourself and the people that rely upon you. Because what separates us as a civilized society from barbarians who do not deserve the comforts and privileges that we enjoy is the fact that we take care of our young, sick, weak, old, and vulnerable. And we all have to care about that. And so if you don't, you give me a call because I got some things to say to you, okay? We'll talk about that. But you better be ready because that's freaking weird. But you already know that because you're good people. All right, I'll see you Friday. Bye.